every... What day is it?
Tuesday?
Tuesday night! His ghost returns to wreak his horrible vengeance.
Oh, but tonight's Tuesday night.
Then he'll be coming.
So
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Our order was meant to shine its light in even the darkest corners of the galaxy.
You know, kind of duplicating the Luke Skywalker. It's like poetry, so if they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Again, it's like poetry.
What could possibly go wrong?
You want some of this? Dude, you know, where you at? Dude, I'm right outside. I'm right the hell outside. Come on out. Dude, I will kick your ass. You can't miss me. Come out. I got a green shirt. I got khaki shorts on. I'm right outside. Don't be pulling me in this. You can't miss me. Don't be pulling me in this bullshit. No, give me that. Give me that. I don't even...
Yes, love yourself. In defense of the selfie.
Green lights, baby. Let's go.
Say, kids, what time is that?
Tonight's Tuesday night.
Welcome. It's Tuesday Night Mayhem. How's everybody doing? Why am I in the center square?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, does that mean you're Paul Lynn?
Around the horn and introduce it. Yeah, I must be Paul Lynn. Let me introduce everybody. I'll start on this side. On my, is that my right or my left? I'm terrible at this.
Your screen left.
Challenge. It's Stacy.
Hi.
How are you, Stacy? Just Stacy.
Muy excelente, great. Yeah.
Excellent.
Gracias.
Very good. On the other side of being on the, wait a minute. This way?
Point with the other hand. Hi.
Yeah. How are you?
Now with 100% less squirrely internet.
And more green screen.
And
you got to. I hear an
yeah.
echo. By the way, who's got an open mic or something to hear that? You got to teach me the Muppet thing.
Teach you the Muppet thing.
Yeah, so we
Yes.
can. I can get my directions right. Below Peter, we have Judah Buddha.
Way over there.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Your level of coolness has just gone up a notch.
Did you just get that?
This is what gets all the girls right here.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I notice you still have your Christmas decorations up, as do I.
I do, as you can
Although
tell.
I did take my Charlie Brown tree out of here.
That is actually something that I had in my bedroom, and it was mounted on my wall next to my bed, and it fell off the wall the other day, and I pretty much was freaking out because I thought it broke, and then I took it and I put it in the closet, and then I thought, well, this is kind of nice. Maybe we should just take it out for the show.
Nice.
So I took my lightsaber out for all you to enjoy.
Next to Judah Buddha is the other Brothers Bride and Back member, Jada Beta.
Hola.
Jason, how are you? I'm still
Greetings from San Diego.
How's the weather out there? Are you getting those horrible Santa Ana winds, or is that just up in LA?
We are. They're particularly fierce today.
Mm.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I got this weird alert I get the LA alerts because I'm out there all the time, and it said it could have hit 120 miles an hour.
Wow.
Category 3 hurricane.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a hurricane out there. It's really fierce.
That's
Mm.
yeah.
Better hope the fire doesn't break out.
No kidding.
Yeah, right. As long as they don't company fires.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be your host, Grogu Senior, today.
Grogu Senior.
Although I'm still drinking my Cara Dune tea,
Very nice.
I will be Grogu Senior this week. So we got lots to talk about, better topics than last week, and a smaller peanut gallery to handle it. So
Peanut gallery.
Yeah. So unless people start popping in later, which they are always welcome to do. So
open door.
Let's start with some fun, shall we? Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong tab. Hold the phone, folks. Today's my first day. I didn't want to open up to what it was going to open up to. It would have been, I didn't want to start there. Let's go back to here. So here's a nice little innocuous story to get us started. We got the training wheels on the bike. So Batman #1 comic graded 9.4, which is like what a brand new comic would look like.
Damn.
$2.2 million, and there it is. And Stacy, what are you going to do with the money you just made off this comic book?
We're going to Disney World. I'm just kidding.
Well, you got the place to yourself, so.
Listen, guys, I might be buying that comic. We never know.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Nice. Good luck.
I forgot to get my ticket.
What's the jackpot up to? Like
it's
a billion?
Crazy. It's like 700. What is it? 700.
That is insane. Is that Mega Millions?
Yeah, hold on.
Powerball's up there too.
Yeah, I got a Powerball ticket too.
Well, Jude, if you win anything, be sure to buy some nice GeekTime Network swag.
It's 865.
When I have a mouthful of liquid, Pete.
It's 800. It's $865 million. I'll be
able to buy the Batman.
Whoever wins, if some of you win, can I just Amazing Fantasy number 15 is all I ask. Just that'll make a small dent in your overall earnings. We have a guest popping in here. Let's bring him in now. Aaron McFarlane.
Hey, it's Aaron McFarlane.
How are you, Aaron?
He's related to Toddler McFarlane, really.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello.
He can't
Anybody
hear.
there? Oh, we get to freeze up.
The beauty of live, ladies and gentlemen. Try again.
I think he's using his
live
phone.
television.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to bounce him and let him try it again.
I think he's using his phone, which is never a good thing when you use your phone anymore.
Right. Right.
Oh, boy.
So next up, OneRing.net, the official Lord of the Rings fan site, released the synopsis for the Amazon series. They're going to spend $1 billion on this thing.
That's
$1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
That's
$1
absolutely
billion.
insane. How do they expect to get that kind of money in return? Well, then again,
Well,
it
it's
is
Amazon.
Yeah, they're good.
This is a power lunch for Jeff Bezos, really.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a power lunch. There's actually a great video online of a guy that took Jeff Bezos' income and put it in rice compared
I've
to
seen that,
did
yeah.
you see that compared to like what the average person's income is, and it's disgusting. Like it's a huge pile of rice.
In comparison to whole economies, like whole countries.
Yeah, especially after this coof. So let's see if this works better. Can you hear us now, Aaron?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just
There you go.
I don't know. I took a speakerphone and I went to my dog. So excuse the roads.
Are you on Wi-Fi on the phone?
I'm on Wi-Fi on the phone.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Everything's Wi-Fi and everything.
Okay, good. We can see you.
Yeah, we
Looking
can see it and hear you. This is a bonus.
This is a
Aaron,
bonus.
this is actually
Yeah.
Aaron's second time on the show. He was on Pizza and Pop Culture
That's right, a long
back
time
in
ago.
March, right? Well, March or April.
Yes. When I was just getting over the corona.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right. You had the vid.
Yes. That wretched thing and everything.
Yikes.
So before we go on with our our Lord of the Rings story. What's new in Aaron Land? Bring us up to speed.
What's new? Well, let me see.
He's working on the Mandalorian.
Yeah. No. Shoot. Well, I had a whole bunch of good things happen. We had a big shoot for Jägermeister doing their they had this Academa thing with their like we were doing a second season of that, and that got canceled. So unfortunately, so hopefully it resumes soon and everything. So that'd be great. So right now, I'm just doing some writing, finishing up this Japanese period film that I'm trying to get done and everything. So I'm doing that,
nice.
Helping the kids with school because I got a son and a daughter, and then helping them and everything. And then, just doing things with my dad and my mom, helping them out and everything. And then doing something. We got a little show called Little Foodies. So we shoot an episode every month with the kids and everything. They taste different things and they react. And nothing too dynamic, with this COVID. Everyone is locked down, things getting canceled. So, he's trying to do as much as he can.
Yeah.
That's how this ended up being a thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have to say. We virtually came together instead of in person, and thus this happened.
That's good though. You got to get gotta get ambitious, creative, get out there, have a voice. Definitely this day and age,
Oh, exactly. I mean, the easy thing to do would just be sit around and watch TV and feel sorry for yourself. But, I wasn't working for the longest time, and I had to do something, and I decided to create this whole entity. So
yeah.
So to catch you up to speed, Aaron, from the last time we've been on, this format's a little bit different, but we go through, I don't know how many articles we had this week, but we go through different pop culture happenings throughout the week, and we talk about them.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so I'm just trying to get this thing to look bigger.
yeah, I'm going to throw up. You're making me seasick.
Huh? I'm not sorry.
So back to the Lord of the Rings. Pete, can you, as our resident token expert,
as your token expert?
Yes.
No, I'm far from an expert on these things. I'm a really big fan of Peter Jackson's movies here. And I'm reading this, and it looks like they're going to try to put drama where there shouldn't be any, and it looks like they're going to try to turn it into Game of Thrones.
So are we going to have lots of scenes where people sit around and express their feelings? Is that what you're saying?
Probably.
So that means we're going to watch hobbits having sex?
No, I think we're going to get more of the like the CW level, like
Sorry, I didn't hear a word of that. What was that?
Me?
Yes, I didn't hear a word of what you were
saying.
saying.
Said I think we're going to get more of the CW level, like feeling. We
probably are. This is going to be putting. This is probably going to be putting drama and character ideas where there shouldn't be any.
Okay.
It looks like it's. I mean, it's supposed to be the rise of Sauron, the big eyeball guy. Supposed to be the rise of Sauron. So it's going to be. There's definitely going to be a lot more intrigue and character development. Where no, this is going to be Game of Thrones.
Well, I mean, I'm going to hold out hope that it's not bad. It's going to be 5 seasons. They're hoping 5 seasons with 8 to 10 episodes per season. Filming begins this month on back-to-back seasons 1 and 2 in New Zealand. J.A. Bayona, who did, he's a really good horror director, but he did that last Jurassic World movie, which was awful. But I don't fault him; he didn't write it. He had to try to direct that shit. Is going to do the pilot, so we'll see.
Sorry,
I think it'll definitely be stylized for lack of.
Yeah, I think if it goes too far away from the from Peter Jackson's aesthetic, which really wasn't his aesthetic to begin with, but the aesthetic of the movies, I think they're going to have a problem on their hands.
Yeah, I mean
that's what everybody thinks of.
Yeah,
he did do the he did what the Book of Lost Tales, which was like he did 2 books, I think, of those. I'm wondering if they're going to do any play off of those because I think those were short stories based around Middle Earth, and they were before The Hobbit and they were before The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to spend $1 billion on it, and I know the Tolkien estate is heavily involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're signing off on everything, so that's why I'm holding on a hope that it won't.
Yeah, it could be good.
They're definitely very very protective of their property, and hopefully they didn't just get a whole bunch of money thrown at them, and they hopefully they're still protective.
Jude's cat is lobbying for a starring role again.
But my question is, why
Every
we
time.
tread this ground though? There's so many other fantasy properties that could be unveiled. I would like to see like a good Dragonlance series.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, you're absolutely right, but unfortunately,
proven,
everybody knows Lord of the Rings, so that one's at least got legs right from the get-go. I mean, it's stupid, but
yeah.
The easiest thing to do is brand recognition.
Yeah.
Edson
There's so
will
many
be on
stories
soon.
out there
Sauron will have a
that
tough time crying from the one eye.
Yarg.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do now is just put a sticker on some IP and run it out there. As we've seen what they've done with Star Wars and just destroy it. And hope you can put one past the goalie, right?
Yeah.
So more fun news. The Moon Knight series is going to be real, I guess. I'm a fan of Moon Knight.
It sounds pretty cool. I never heard of it before, but this sounds pretty cool, man.
Moon Knight is he's Marvel's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
The difference with him is he's not avenging his parents' death. He's insane. He's got multiple personalities, and he keeps shifting in and out of them. And he talks to an Egyptian god that doesn't exist.
Khonshu.
Mm-hmm. So Oscar Isaac's been tapped to play Moon Knight. And now it looks like Ethan Hawke's coming on, and he's going to be some kind of villain, but they don't know who he might be.
Ethan Hawke, that's a blast from the past.
Nah, he's relevant.
So, Aaron, are you a fan of Moon Knight?
First time I ever heard about Moon Knight.
Okay, it's not. Yeah, he's very obscure. He's a D-list Marvel character. Not many people really like him, but
I think he has a niche. He's got a niche fan base.
Yes, he does.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have an ad popping up there.
Oh yeah,
The Joker ad.
It's so much fun fighting the ads. You have to combat these things constantly. If you let down for a second, they infiltrate. And we are not pimping for any of this stuff, by the way. These ads are just random. So. I'd like to say that we are and get paid from these people, but no. Yeah. So this looks interesting. I don't know when it's due out, but I'm guessing like 2029.
So soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just rushing it on through.
Well, it's funny when Netflix first started doing Daredevil and Luke Cage and all those shows, and they were so street gritty, and I thought Moon Knight would have been perfect. And I'm like, you got to do Moon Knight. They're the only ones who'll get it right, and that didn't happen. Now I'm kind of worried because it is Disney now. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jason, you're a fan of Moon Knight, aren't you?
I am. I'm a big fan of the Bill Sienkiewicz run back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Warren Ellis did a good run about 5 or 6 years ago now too. It was really good.
He did. It was really good. It basically renovated the character for the 21st century.
Yeah, yeah. I like how he wore like the suit.
Yeah,
with the hood.
The hood.
Nice.
So I'm curious. I don't know if they lift. I'm hoping they lift either Bill Sienkiewicz's run or Warren Ellis or both. Make a combination.
Right.
If they take directly from the source material and handle it properly, it'll be awesome. I think people will love it. He's just such a weird character.
It sounds cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting.
Since Marvel's tapping like the D list,
Do you hear it?
Who's dinging?
Sorry, my son's texting me. It's coming through my computer.
I was like, is it time to eat?
I don't have
I forgot this movie was coming out.
So did I, and then I saw this. I was like, I guess this is news, right?
I never even heard of this before. So, and I read the thing. I was like, it sounds interesting to me. I'm kind of down for it. It's not the same world that Blade lives in, is it?
No, it's Spider-Man's world.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a villain, wasn't he?
Correct. Now, this is not part of the MCU. This is part of Sony's Spider-Man universe.
Oh, okay.
So this
but
goes
if you
in.
watch the trailer, there's a Spider-Man poster in it. So,
Well, that's because they're sharing the license to Spider-Man. But this is more like where Venom lands. Venom's
gotcha.
The Sony Spider-Man license.
More.
So, yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the Spawn movie. Was it any, or not Spawn?
Venom.
Venom. Was it any good?
No.
I like Tom Hardy.
I mean,
I like Tom Hardy.
No, I mean, I know they're going to release a Carnage, a second one with Carnage, but I mean, how far can they go with that? I mean, eventually, it's going to fizzle out.
Woody Harrelson appears at the end of Venom as Carnage. It's what's the real guy's name? Cletus Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
And Woody Harrelson's wearing this awful wig, and he looks like Sideshow Bob.
I don't even remember that. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Venom was not good. It was very, very cartoony, wooden acting. It was.
I thought some of the special effects looked interesting, especially. Well, they were weird looking. They were very glossy, but I like when his face would like, and then it'd come back.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool effect.
I know, yeah. That was cool.
Did you see it, Aaron?
I saw pieces of it. I fell asleep on it. Sorry. It was
exactly. Exactly.
It didn't keep my attention and everything. You know, it's I don't know what to think about those films. I like films that are a little bit more dark and gritty, and I like reality type stuff and everything. So, but I don't know about that, Ben. I think they could probably do a better job with it, in the sense of with the character. I know one friend had a big concern was with trying to make him kind of like almost a good guy, you know?
Yeah, a reluctant hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with Venom is really he was Spider-Man's, bad guy, and everything. And his whole point was, if you don't have Spider-Man in there to introduce the character, he doesn't really see the point, because Venom is basically supposed to be anti-Spider-Man. So he really would like to see the character introduced, because they have a rivalry, right, and everything. Yeah. Both of those guys didn't like each other and everything. So then how you have Venom taking him over, and now they're battling between each other. So you have that conflict, that natural conflict. If Peter Parker was in there, and Spider. So that's
I totally agree with you. They cut like almost 10 years of comic lore out and went straight, because now he's like a vigilante anti-hero.
Yeah, but I like that how he became that way, because the alien, DNA or whatever got to him. It wasn't like some sappy story that made him that way. You know what I mean?
But they cut what Aaron's talking about. He originally that turned Eddie Brock sinister, vile.
Oh, so he was bad, and then okay, got it.
Right.
It's basically like if you kind of forget that Batman's parents were killed.
Okay.
It's kind of an essential part of the character.
Or when we get to Batman,
him and Peter Parker.
All right, I missed that. That wasn't part of it. So.
Yeah, and in the comics, they kind of over time evolved him into less of a villain and more of a Punisher type character.
Oh, okay. So in the comics, he kind of wasn't all bad.
I don't even know if Venom really. I mean, originally it was just the black suit from Secret Wars for Spider-Man, and I think it just the kind of, I don't know who evolved it into having the Venom character, but I think it was supposed to stop at some point, because when Spider-Man got to the church bells or the tower, whatever, and the bell rang, the suit came off, and then you thought maybe that was the end of that, and that's when the Spawn thing, or the keep calling Spawn, that's when the Venom thing happened.
That's because Todd McFarlane had a lot to do with him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sold a lot of comics.
Exactly.
But I think you hit on a good point there, Aaron, that because they couldn't have access to Spider-Man, fast track the movie, they cut a whole bunch of his lore right out.
Yeah.
Unless you watch Spider-Man 3, which has nothing to do with the movie, but then you know a little bit of the lore.
Yeah, you do. You do get some of it there. Yeah, they do. You do.
You do. But this is part of that reboot universe with Andrew Garfield. This was supposed to be part of that whole Sinister Six, and they're going to build this whole universe of villains, and it just didn't work out.
Okay.
Then they made the deal with Marvel, and they rebooted it for a third time with Tom Holland, and they have a weird contract issue. I think Marvel's only allowed one more movie with Tom Holland, and then Sony can pull the contract back
if they want to. Yeah, I think that's how it works.
I think they're going to. If they're going ahead with Morbius, they've already done Venom. If they want to do a Carnage, they're clearly going ahead with their plans to build their own Spider-Man universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel righted the ship by putting Peter Parker in the MCU and doing it. Well, I don't want to say they did it the right way because they didn't, but let's just say they did it better than Sony. Sony probably will stick with that trajectory, but just bring them back, and they want to keep all the profits. They don't want to split profits with Disney anymore. Come on.
Yeah, and Disney isn't exactly the powerhouse that it was, so they aren't exactly in that. They need the money, so they'll probably do whatever Sony wants.
Yeah. Now that said, looking at this picture of Jared Leto, who wants to see this movie? Let's go around the horn. Stacey?
The picture is weird, but like the story was good. When when I read with the details about it, I think it sounds interesting.
Pete?
I even forgot this movie was coming out, and I probably couldn't care less about it.
Jude?
I'm sorry. I wish I did care.
I will go see it.
So we have
yeah, go ahead.
One thumbs up, two thumbs down. Jason?
Yeah, I never had an interest in this character, so my impetus for seeing it is really minimal.
3 hands down. And Aaron?
Yeah, I think I'll watch it because I don't really know too much about the character, and I like the based on this tiny screen that I have on my phone, it looks cool. He's dressed up everything with the fangs and everything. So, I'm interested. I'll go watch it and just see. We watch it from home, so the plus.
Yeah, I'm with you, Aaron, and you, Stacey. I could care less about this character in the comics. Usually when he shows up, I'm like, oh no, I gotta trust him.
I mean, there's so many other Spider-Man villains that are so just, I don't know, iconic.
I like
he's not really iconic. He's not an iconic Spider-Man villain.
I think he's different.
But exactly, that said, I saw this still image and I'm like, you know what? That might be different enough that I might want to just watch it.
It's funny because when I was talking about this with my son, and he's like, I'm so MCU'd out. Like, I'm so sick of it. I'm like, but this isn't that. This is something different, So
yeah, it's Sony MCU. It's the SMCU.
Yeah. It's not what we're used to. Like, what we've been inundated with for how many years now. So It's kind of a break from that, I think. It's still kind of in that genre, but it's a little break from the norm.
Exactly.
It's gonna be good for everybody to see an unknown character.
Yeah, I think so.
And everything. And then you could take more liberties with it, have him do crazy stuff, and no one's going to be criticizing the hell out of it. And
exactly.
He didn't do that and everything,
Yeah, there's no expectations for it, so that people can't.
It worked for the MCU. I mean, I defy you to find me a fan of Iron Man before the movie came out.
Oh yeah.
I want you to find me a Guardians of the Galaxy fan.
Yeah,
right.
It's a movie with a talking tree and a talking raccoon. Oh dear God.
They made something out of that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it also depends on the director. A director can make it and break it. So
True.
Gunn did a great job with that, and now everybody knows him, and now he's highly sought after. Because they know anything he touches might turn to gold. Because Guardians, no one wanted to see it, and then it became a huge phenomenon.
Oh, so good! I just watched it again.
Well, with Morbius, you could take a horror turn now. You can do a dark, gritty horror, like a Blade. So
yeah,
it might be interesting.
That's true.
Are they doing a new Blade movie? I thought
Yes,
they
are.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I saw that's coming.
Except it's Disney Blade.
Oh really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, right? We'll see. I don't know. So
for you sports fans out there, they're making a Kurt Warner movie starring
Kurt Warner movie.
A Kurt Warner movie with Anna Paquin, who's Rogue from the X-Men movie,
and she's Sookie from True Blood,
and Zachary Levi, who's Shazam. So we're getting a Marvel DC team up to play football player and football player's wife. So this might be pretty good. It's Friday Night Lights. And, so they've got the The idea they're adapting it straight from his autobiography or his memoir, as they call them these days.
Memoir.
So, yeah, I just thought that was kind of fun news. It doesn't mean jack
What's
shit.
Kingdom Story Company? Is it like kind of like a religious production company or something?
You know, that's a good question. I'm guessing yes, because I know he's.
It seemed kind of like, I don't know. I got that feeling from this article.
Yeah, and he's big on faith.
Mhm.
And I think he.
And if you look at the other movies they're very like the was it Miracle and like a couple different, I don't know.
Yeah, it's he. For people who don't know anything about Kurt Warner, who's not football fans or sports ball fans, he was a clerk at a grocery store.
Ball.
And he could play, and he played in the Arena Football League, which is a low-level indoor football league with half the amount of players they play on the hockey rink, and not on skates. They put the field down. And he was bagging groceries, and he went and tried out for the Rams and ended up the best player in football and won a Super Bowl. And it's a great story. It's a great story. It's like Invincible with Vince Papale. It's one of those. So
Gotcha.
I just, it's amazing it took this long to adapt his story, because it's one of those every kid's dream that wants to show up, try out for a football team, make it, and then be the best player, right? In the case of Vince Papale, he was not even close to being the best player, but that's a good one.
Warner was legit as far as his abilities as a player.
Right.
That's cool.
So I just thought that was fun. All right, let's go around the horn again. We're missing Jude, but
sorry.
MCU Phase 4.
The marmot just it was running around going nuts. I had to put him in the cage.
You need to sniff his belly again. Our audience didn't get to see that. So if he comes back, grab him and sniff him. Scratch and sniff.
Right now, he's got to take a nap because he is going berserk.
Making this face like she's absolutely repulsed at me right now.
He smells like a burnt nacho. Okay,
So
That's
sniff
basically what
it
I
real
can describe
hard.
this now.
That's good. Okay.
Stacy's thinking, why did I agree to do this?
No.
I'm gonna once I get him, I'm gonna get his harness on him. I got a little leash, and once he comes out, I'm gonna train him like a parrot. I'm gonna put him on my shoulder, and then I'm gonna bring him out.
You're that guy. You're gonna be that guy.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be like the guy with the white rat on his shoulder in Central Park.
Yeah. That guy is always the coolest guy, so I think you're.
Of
that's something
course.
there.
I mean, you wouldn't have it any other way. Look at me.
You got to go to the park with your marmot and your lightsaber.
There you go.
Oh yes, definitely. You'll be.
Yes, total chick
Bat the
magnet
women
there.
away. You're gonna have to be batting them away with it because they're gonna be flocking to you from all sides.
This thing is so awkward to hold. I have no clue how they fought with this damn thing. I think
Well,
it's
you're not a Jedi yet. You got to take
your Do you know? Here's a little Star Trek, Star Wars knowledge. This is actually part of a camera. They actually had the light. Oh, he just got out of his cage. That's crazy. This was actually part of the flash on an old camera, and they took that flash piece off, and then they made a lightsaber of it.
Wow.
You're full of knowledge.
I thought it was a flashlight.
Stacy right now is thinking, man, if I was only single.
I know.
Wait, and it gets better.
There he is. Hold on. Let's follow you.
I'm very concerned about you, Jude. Oh, it's so weird. Oh my god.
I'm gonna break him.
Burnt nachos.
Oh boy.
I can't believe you got out of your cage.
I just threw up in my mouth.
Aren't you glad you came back, Jay?
Yeah.
You've been missing all this.
My goodness.
So back to our topic du jour. Marvel Universe Phase 4. Who's excited? Who could give a crap? We'll start at the bottom row this time. Let's go bottom row. Aaron, you first. Are you tapped out of the Marvel stuff?
Yeah, I like DC. I really do. I like what DC is doing with the Joker. I like what they did with the original Batman. I just watched Birds of Prey, and I enjoyed that. That was pretty.
Did you?
Yeah, it was just
I think there's
simple.
only one.
Nah, well, you know,
It was okay.
I'm
It
the only
wasn't
black
great.
guy
It
here
was
too,
okay.
so that so I got some good taste going on here. All right, I'm not gonna take it. But anyway, I know laugh is funny. It came out the blue. But no, anyway, but I like Birds of Prey. I just thought it was this nice, clean. What I like about it is it was just clean. It had a story. It told it. It didn't get weird and wonky. It didn't try to make it anything more than it was. You know, I just liked the story. Even though I saw it before, you know, and everything, I enjoyed it, stuff like that. I like the Batmans and everything. I love the Joker. I thought the Joker was a really good film.
Which Joker? Jay Leto's Joker or
No,
the
the Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Jay Leno?
Jared
No.
Leto. You mean?
Jared Leto?
Jared Leto.
Jay Leno Jay Leno would play a pretty good Joker because he kind of looks like a Joker. Yeah, you know. Sorry.
So, you know, I just enjoyed that. So I'm looking for what DC. You know, I didn't like Wonder Woman 1984. I thought that got a little weird. And
The whole consensus here agrees with you.
Story.
The story. It's they did too much. They should have either made it about her and the girl going at it and everything. You know.
Yeah, it was not good.
It got weird. So that's my problem. When they try to be like Marvel, they fail. But when they just try to be, to me, just real, raw, and honest, you get good films out of them. You know, you get the Joker, you get the Batman 3, and you get the first one. The Woman was pretty decent and everything.
Oh, we loved it.
Decent and everything. I'm a big fan of Man of Steel. I really love that Man of Steel and everything. Because for me, when I watched that, I watched it on Father's Day. I was a father for the first time, and just all those flashbacks between Kevin Costner, you know, and everything. I was just those things is beautiful, you know. So, and I really enjoy Man of Steel. I think it had a really nice story and everything. Aquaman had too much. Again, sometimes I think they threw too much in there. You know, you had two bad guys in there. You don't need two bad guys. Just have one, focus on that story. And everything. I think they don't do a good job with superheroes of having a really good bad guy who has a plot and he's pushing the good guy, you know, to do his thing. I think that's why everyone liked the Infinity War so much, because Thanos was a really good bad guy. He drove that plot and he made these guys have to make decisions. I mean, it's Greek mythology 101 right there, you know, and everything. I feel with these superhero movies, they try to make them like indie films where it's the star, you know, the antagonist doing his own thing, you know, and everything. Trying to, you know, he's making all these bad decisions, but he's just making bad decisions for what reason? You know, there's no one pushing him to make these bad decisions, these choices. So, you know, you really do need a good villain because he drives the plot, you know, and then it can be character driven through what he does to make the, you know, these actors do what they need to do. So, I don't know. So I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm interested. If it's anything good, I'll watch it, you know, and everything, but it's not on my radar, so, you know.
Right. I can't comment on Birds of Prey because I haven't seen it. It's like the only DC movie I have not seen. But
yeah.
Most people hated it, so I didn't bother.
It's a Guy Ritchie film on steroids. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. I don't think it was good. I think it was probably. I mean, it was definitely better than some Marvel movies. Like, I definitely think it's better than. I don't know. It was okay. It just. I think it was just kind of like one of these movies you watch and then afterwards you kind of forget about it. But it wasn't a terrible movie. But it wasn't something I'd probably watch again.
So, Jason, Marvel MCU Phase 4, in, out, indifferent?
Oh, I'm definitely in. I'm very excited. I think there's a lot of possibilities for some great stories. Look at like Shang-Chi. We can harken back to the old Bruce Lee movies and get that kind of vibe. I'm really excited about pairing Guardians of the Galaxy with Thor. I think that would be really fun. And I'm really excited about expanding the Black Panther universe with Shuri. I want to see what they do with that. So there's a lot of possibilities for some great stories and some great films here. I think they have a lot to work with, and I want to see what they can do with it.
Jude, in, out.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Doctor Strange, so I'm interested to see what they're gonna do next with the Doctor Strange character. I mean, the first movie, I liked it a lot, but I definitely want to see where they go. The only problem I didn't like with the Doctor Strange movie was that I didn't think the villains were really good. And I think Marvel suffers from that. I think that Marvel really suffers from having good villains. They're not bad enough. They just seem like they're evil, but they're easy to beat. They're weak. And
they're just a plot device.
Right. They're just a plot device to move the story along. And I always feel like they're powerful enough to screw up humans, but when it comes to the hero, it's like you're done. You know, I never felt so. I mean, I hope Marvel starts to kind of push a little bit more on maybe having villains that actually can kick ass besides Thanos.
Yeah, I think Thanos in you can maybe give Michael B. Jordan's character in Black Panther, Killmonger, was okay because they had backstory.
The story was really good.
They had some backstory, but then you look at a villain like in the Civil War, what's his face?
Zemo?
Zemo was just awful.
I'll show you how good it was. You couldn't even remember his name.
There you go. And I love Baron Zemo in the comics. Like, that wasn't even close. Pete, Phase 4. What do you think?
I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, I'm really kind of marveled out. I mean, they just hit the fence with Infinity War and Endgame. How do you top that? I mean, I know that they're going back to basics and bringing up like the D-list characters with like the Eternals and stuff like that, but it could be good. I mean, I'm not really excited to rush out and see the next wave of stuff. I'm not really interested in seeing WandaVision. Maybe, you know, I'm kind of down on superheroes at this point.
Yeah. Stacy, MCU Phase 4.
Well, I definitely see the MCU fatigue. I'm willing to trudge along with it. Like, I watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision the other day. I have thoughts. I know we're going to talk.
Yeah, we're going to get to it.
That. I love Scarlett Johansson, so I'm excited about Black Widow. And I have to say, like, I am a little bit excited for Loki because I love Owen Wilson, and I'm really interested to see this whole agency thing that he works for. I don't know any of that stuff, and it's all new to me, so I think it'll be kind of fun to see where it takes. You know.
I did learn this week, and it's rumored, it's not confirmed or anything, but Tom Hiddleston's in 1 episode.
Really?
It's female Loki. It's Loki.
No,
yeah,
not true.
That's what I hear.
That's not what the way they made the preview look. It looked like he was in different places.
Apparently, he's in the first episode.
Oh, that's it.
That's what I hear.
We shall see.
Or he's gonna just pop in for like 1 scene here and there.
Weird. But it's called Loki.
Yeah.
I think that the only way that it can really go with this now is probably head in the direction of Secret Wars, because that was the biggest
Secret Invasion.
They're doing Secret Invasion,
right? But yeah, I mean, because that's what really sold back in when I grew up, and my brother, we both were. When Secret Wars came out, that was huge. I mean, everybody wanted to collect comics then when you were a kid.
Yeah. Well, they're doing Secret Invasion, and that's for Disney Plus because they're it's gonna stream, and they can bloat it out and the whole bit. For me, Phase 4, I'm kind of I'm sour. I'm like you, Pete. I kind of had enough. It's like eating a great meal and then tapping out. In the list of some of these movies that are coming out, I just don't really care. I do want to see Doctor Strange, and I do want to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and I did watch WandaVision and absolutely loved it.
Really?
Yeah. So I
that's a good
point. That's a good point.
It is a really good point.
I'm trying to save the good story for you, Ed.
Into a lady all the time. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
So is WandaVision releasing a whole season, or are they just releasing the episodes?
They released 2.
Okay.
No, they're not doing the binge thing. The binge thing is a bad model to have.
I'm starting to think it is. I'm really starting to think
it's an absolutely bad model to have because everyone watches it in 1 weekend and then
they forget about it, and you forget about it.
If here's the example: if The Mandalorian was released in 1 day,
the
the Luke Skywalker thing
Yes.
would have cheapened.
Ruined.
You would have
ruined.
You would have forgotten about Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
You would have forgotten about Ahsoka. You would have forgotten about everything that happened because you would have watched 10 episodes in one day, and all that mattered was the last one.
It's a great point. I agree.
When it's week to week, and they're building on something, and this WandaVision is building towards something.
Absolutely.
You don't want to watch this in one sitting. It was.
Right.
I actually didn't like the fact that I got to watch 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Because
I
wanted to. By the way, before we get to WandaVision, did you all watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. I was going to watch it. Yeah.
They're listed at 30, 31 minutes an episode. Huh. Each one of them has 9 minutes of credits. They're really 22-minute episodes, 21, 22 minutes.
That's like
9
It's enough,
minutes.
though. It's enough. I feel like it's enough for each.
No, it's perfect. It's just it's deceptive because it says half an hour, but it's 20 minutes.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
But you can 9 minutes of credit shows how much money they put behind it.
Now, does it look like a movie quality series?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
The reason I was asking about the MCU is because I do think that there's a lack of excitement overall. I think it's been away for 2 years now. I don't think anybody really cares anymore. Endgame feels like it was 10 years ago now. And and like we said, they're trotting out a bunch of D-list characters. In the face of the Marvel universe now is going to be Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, and she's about as popular as a hangnail, a bloody hangnail. So already they're running out these rumors that we already heard Robert Downey Jr. might be coming back already, and now they're talking about bringing Chris Evans back already.
There's a connection to WandaVision, but I don't know. I read it.
Do you think this has anything to do with Chadwick's death and everything?
That
maybe. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Brie Larson is so unpopular, and she was going to be the new face of the Avengers.
That would have just it wouldn't have never worked.
I also don't think. I don't know. I mean, they're going to pay this guy what he would need to come back and do this.
Well, didn't he also come on his Twitter feed and said "news to me"?
He did, and then the rumors persisted.
Really?
Like it's almost like a bad I don't know anything about that. For an actor, he's a bad actor, I guess.
For a regular guy, he's a bad actor.
Yeah, right. So, he's a great Captain America.
He really is.
He's pissing people off on Twitter, but he's a great Captain America.
He really is.
And I don't know, maybe this is just for Doctor Strange, because the one thing we do know about the new Doctor Strange movie is that they're going to try to introduce the multiverse concept, which is all these alternate realities of all these characters. And you're right, Stacey, the WandaVision might have a lot to do with this too.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah, they're actually saying that WandaVision, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man 3 are going to be a loose trilogy, a loose multiverse trilogy.
There's someone trying to talk to her in WandaVision, and it's been speculated that it's Captain America.
But what's the MacGuffin? What do you think? There's got to be some kind of object involved in all this.
Well, we'll get into
WandaVision. Okay, never mind.
It's the connection specifically to,
There's always an object. It's always like a cube or a ball or some kind of thing.
Are you thinking of J.J. Abrams? No.
No. A big giant light beam that goes into the sky.
And a lens flare.
And dismantle it. I'm going to save that story for Edson, and we'll just go into more comic book movie rumors and hearsay. So DC's Ann Sarnoff says everything is connect now. So DC and Marvel are taking a very similar approach right now, where the Doctor Strange...
Yeah, who's going to beat who to the punch?
Right. The Doctor Strange multiverse is designed now to bring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, because they weren't part of the MCU. They were the Sony licensed Spider-Man. They're going to kind of bring them in for winking and nodding a wave and see they're in this universe too. It's all connected, all the X-Men, the whole thing. And DC apparently is going to do the same damn thing with the Batman in the Flashpoint movie, which will introduce the idea of their multiverse. So she says, I am proud of the work we did last year with DC Fandom being an example because we had movies, games, products, television, streaming, everything was represented there. So since I joined in August of 2019, we've had weekly meetings about our big franchises and talking about how we can collaborate together, how we can make the whole more than the part, how we bring the amazing characters and stories to life in a new and different way. One of the things I said to them early on was, look, you don't want your fans to see your org chart. And boy, they can see it right now. They can see the movie has nothing to do with the TV series, etc. Everything's connected now, and we're building a DC universe plan that is much more centrally connected but individually executed. I think it's really extreme in the planning that all needs to come together so people can still feel pride of their individual efforts. I'm really excited about the plans ahead. So, and it's supposed to be this Flashpoint movie that galvanizes, bringing back, bringing again Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, to bridge it all together and say this was always a plan all along. It's a giant retcon, is what it is.
Yeah.
So, and I know they already did a little bit with like, what's his face here? Ezra Miller's Flash was on the Flash TV show.
Yeah, he was also in the Crisis on Infinite Earths CW crossover series last year. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
So there's a precedent for this multi-universe type of approach because it was done on the CW series.
Yeah, it's pretty successful too.
It was. Yeah.
They could have saved themselves a lot of hassle by just using the CW actors on the big screen.
Yeah. Why?
I mean, I get why they'd be reticent to put kind of B-list TV actors up on a big screen in a blockbuster $200 million movie. But still, to me, to the normies who watch Grant Gustin as the Flash on TV and then go see the Flash in the theater, and they're like, well, who the hell's this guy? And why does he look so different? Like, the costumes aren't even the same. It just looks so different. So, I don't know. This is what happens when corporations buy intellectual property and try to exploit it when they have really no idea what they're dealing with. So, and I think those CW shows early on were pretty faithful adaptations. They've since turned into 90210.
Yeah, I agree. The Legends of Tomorrow was actually a lot of fun for the first couple of seasons.
It was. I watched Arrow for 3. I watched Flash for 2 or 3. I watched Legends for the first 2. I just gave up on all of them. And then I watched Batwoman this week.
Oh boy.
Review is coming.
We'll get
you
to
okay,
that,
man?
right?
You want to talk? You need a shoulder to cry on there?
It was so unintentionally funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I was dying laughing. It was so. My favorite part of it is. Recently, I saw Mark Hamill on. It was Frank Oz. It was on YouTube, and Frank Oz was talking about acting and this and that. And Mark Hamill was like, he can't watch. He says he has trouble watching A New Hope because he was a mouth breather. and he said by mouth breathing, it's the bad acting where you go, that exasperated.
Right.
Do you know how many of those I counted on Batwoman?
Oh, really?
Oh, the acting's abysmal.
Oh no.
It's awful. It's such a trash fire. We'll get to that.
This is the first season we're talking about with Batwoman.
The season 2 premiere was this weekend.
With the new girl?
Yes.
Oh, was it someone different that played it before?
She quit. Ruby Rose quit the show.
Oh.
She did the Jodie Whittaker thing, where it was like, this show is going to destroy my career. I'm out.
Oh, that's not cool.
Even though she did what Jodie Whittaker should do.
Or is rumored to have done.
Yeah.
But Ruby Rose is such a bad actress anyway. The new girl's a much better actor, but the show is a trash fire.
I like to watch it because I know they're doing kind of certain stereotypes that they do with black characters. And everyone has to be a drug addict, come from being in prison, and do all that stuff. So I was reading an article on it, so I wanted to see.
I sat down with a pad last night, Aaron, and watched it. And I have 2 pages of notes. Like, I had to keep pausing it and writing shit down. It was so. I can't wait to do my review. I gotta pull like straight audio clips because the dialogue is so horrific. It's so horrific. Yeah, and it's like the first 3 minutes. I think they virtue signaled and checked every possible PC box you could do. Anyway, big leak for Batman. So it's funny how they kept Mark Hamill a secret for a year with the internet. And this they've kept wraps on this too. They're leaking little things here and there, but when they cross promote with merchandise, they forget that the characters end up on the soda and stuff and the Doritos bags. So
oh boy,
they're hard to make out here, but that's supposed to be Riddler, I guess, right?
No, Riddler's on the purple one.
Oh, the Riddler's
go down.
That's Batman. That's Catwoman.
There's another one. There's another one.
Oh, there's another. That looks like, to me, that looks like Talon from Court of Owls instead. I see the question mark on the shoulder.
Oh yeah.
So, whoops. So they might as well just release stills of these people, right? I mean, they're on the coast, on the Mountain Dew. Riddler's brew, no less. So, Paul Dano as Riddler and Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. So
that's not new information, right?
Thoughts?
All in the same movie.
Yeah, they're doing it again, right?
What? Doing what again?
Too many villains.
Too many villains.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, just.
Well, I mean, Catwoman's kind of like a sideline bad guy, like right? I mean, like in the Dark Knight movies, she was kind of like the go-between. She was kind of good, kind of bad, really,
Yeah,
well, she has a complicated relationship with Bruce.
Exactly. So she's not like the bad guy. It doesn't seem like,
But this movie is going to be like year one.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have an established relationship yet.
Okay.
So she will be a bad guy. She will be a cat burglar.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they balance it, and everything.
Right.
Because usually that's the problem when they have too many bad guys. They don't know how to balance it, and it takes away from a good story building up between the antagonist and the protagonist. So,
One of them usually gets gypped out of their story.
Right. I think Zoe Kravitz will make a great Catwoman. I think she'll do a really good job.
Yeah, I've been impressed with her performance.
She's pretty awesome.
Don't forget, you've also got Carmine Falcone in here. So there's three villains.
Oh, geez, that's a bad guy.
Yeah, that's he's a mob boss. He basically runs Gotham's underworld. So,
wow.
Peter Skarsgård.
He was Tom. What's the guy's name? The actor in the Batman Beyond, the Chris Nolan movies. He was Tom Wilkinson played Falcone.
Oh, okay.
So, or was that in the show? Maybe that was
that was in that was in the movies.
That was in the movies. All right,
because you think your mommy and your daddy got shot.
right. I'm just getting them all mixed up now, but apparently this is the Riddler right here. So the guy in the trailer who was put
duct tape. Covered in duct tape. Yeah.
So,
who's Oswald Cobblepot?
That's the Riddler.
It's the Penguin.
Oh, so he's in there too.
The Penguin. Yeah.
Colin Farrell so there's another bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot of bad guys.
I think what you'll see is they're gonna just kind of tease them. They're gonna kind of leak.
They'll just kind of be in like a scene or like just kind of get
probably at the end too, kind of like in the remember at the end of Batman Begins when he meets Gordon on the roof and Gordon gives him the Joker card. He says, I don't know, this guy's leaving these cards and calls himself the Joker, and Batman goes, I'll look into it. I think you get kind of one of those kind of things, like they'll emerge in one scene to kind of tee it up for the future. But the bigger problem, and I think the biggest villain in this movie so far, has been Robert Pattinson. And I don't know if there will be any more because they're probably going to have to recast him. I don't think they're going to work with him again after this.
It's such a strange thing. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into. Like, I'm surprised there's such conflict.
Do you know about the backstory on this, Jason or Aaron?
No.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Robert Pattinson has destroyed the production in this film because he won't lift weights. He won't.
Yeah, he wants to stay wimpy.
Oh, I've heard about this.
And I think he wants the glitter too. I think he wants the glitter when he goes.
All right. Yeah.
Don't say that. I heard that. Yeah, I heard.
Bruce Wayne wants the glitter.
The biggest problems they're having is when they cut to the stunt person who's twice his size. So apparently they used COVID as a shield, and they shut the production down for a month, claiming it was COVID outbreak, but it wasn't. They sent him home to work out, and he didn't do it again. He came back.
Weird.
And the director Matt Reeves said he's just had it, and he just can't wait to get this movie over with, and he wants to walk away.
He would play a better Robin than he would have Batman, I think.
No,
I don't
maybe
know why.
he should be the Riddler or something like that.
Or yeah. But he's not a Batman. So.
Right.
He just isn't. And in the minute I think we found out they casted him, and I know my brother can agree with this, we both wanted to vomit because we just thought it was a terrible choice. We both literally wanted to throw up.
Well, I liked him in Tenet, and Tenet gave me faith that he'd be a decent Bruce Wayne. But Batman, and I didn't want to react like that because in the ninth, I was a teenager when they announced Michael Keaton was going to play Batman, and everybody just
everybody hated that. And Heath Ledger is the Joker. Are you kidding me? The guy from A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, the pretty boy from The Patriot, right? Mel Gibson's son there.
I know when you play teenage vampires that glitter and sunlight, it's just Batman. No, I'm sorry. Completely typecast himself. You know what I mean?
But in the hands of a good director who has a clear vision, you're dealing with actors, Jude. They're malleable. And as we have a story from,
they can do other things.
Bill Burr describes exactly what an actor is. A good director can fix those shortcommings. Michael Keaton,
but you also got to be a good actor. So
Pattinson's a very good actor.
Seen The Lighthouse?
Pattinson's
no, you're right. The Lighthouse was
bad
good.
actor. I think his
have you seen Cosmopolis?
Is the problem.
I think I just can't. I just can't get the whole Twilight saga out of my head. I really can't.
You get stuck on stuff, man.
I can't help it. It's like ingrained in my skull.
Jason, I think you're gonna have to take your brother for some kind of.
I think my brother would agree with me. I absolutely think my brother would agree with me on this. Am I right?
Yeah, I just don't think it was a right fit. I just don't.
No, clearly. He probably shouldn't have signed that contract if he didn't want to lift weights.
You have to be of a certain physique if you want to play Batman, and if you're not willing to do that, then we've got problems.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why he would take the part if he's not willing to commit to the role. It's pretty obvious what the role is,
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of an actor that would play a good Batman right now, and he's got to be kind of young and have a good physique. But who else would play?
Finding nobody.
Yeah.
Look at Ben Affleck when he did Batman versus Superman, beefed up.
I actually liked him as Batman. I really did.
So did I. And those cross training scenes where he's throwing the tires around and stuff, he was really working out. They filmed it and put it in the movie. Like he really worked. He built it.
He's not young.
Yeah, and he's 50, right?
There's no excuses. I mean, you're getting paid all this money. You don't have a 9-to-5 job. I mean, all you have, they just say, hey, here's a personal trainer, here's a diet.
Exactly.
We're paying millions of dollars. So there's no excuse.
Right. That wasn't like it was thrown on him. Who Batman is, or it's just it wasn't a big surprise.
They probably made a mistake and didn't put in language in the contract saying that you have to do this, that, and the other thing. It's not in the contract. So he's like,
I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Is he trying to be a different kind of Batman? I don't get it.
Look what they did with Chris Pratt, though. Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec, he was a dad bod all the way.
Yeah.
And they turned him into a pretty, beefy guy in that one scene, where they're in prison and they're spraying him down with something, and that's the first time you see him with his shirt off, and you're like, wait a second, what happened to all the pudginess? So, and he committed to that, and there's actually, you can go online and you can find his routine of what he did to actually.
Christian Bale did for this movie. I mean, both the movies when he first is like introduced as Batman, he gets bigger and bigger, and then he gets all skinny, So
he got too big.
Yeah. Well, he had to because he was in the prison, so he had to get lose a lot of it.
Yeah.
I know the Marvel, they have a standard a Hemsworth and Chris.
Well, those guys always look like they were beefcakes.
They have to follow the same routine with the same trainers and whatnot.
Yeah, smart.
And the women too, like Scarlett Johansson.
And they want to be healthy. Like you want to do it the right way. So you want to, you know, there's a way to do it, and you know it. Again, you know what you're getting into when you sign these.
It's hard work, and they don't want to. You know, Robert Pattinson. And let's face it, what do actors always like to say? I want to make this my own.
You can't make Batman your own.
I got to put my stamp on this. This has to be my voice. I don't want to do what's been done before.
He wants to be a mopey Batman.
Well, when he pulls in the trailer, when he pulls the cowl off and he's got the emo haircut and
so you're trying to say he wants to be a Kylo Ren Batman. It's not fair. I'm a Jedi. I'm the dark.
I want to be Batman and talk about my feelings. So while we're on the subject, right?
I know we're short on movies this year, but I'm just, you know, maybe we just don't do it. Maybe
April Fool's Day has come early, gang.
Wait. This has got to be like The Onion, right?
No.
This is real.
No. Here we go.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Warner Brothers has updated its WBAwards.com for your consideration website, listing Wonder Woman 1984, where it seeks nominations in all categories. So here we go. They put in for everything.
Everything.
They put in for Best Picture. I'll say that one more time because I know you're all in stunned disbelief. They submitted this for Best Picture.
Let me pick my jaw up from the desk.
They have. Wow.
We haven't been drinking. This is real. Best Director.
What? Come on. Best Director? Give me a break. Come on.
Best Adapted Screenplay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I think, you know, they have the Razzies. I think this is the Razzies list.
That's immediately what popped into my head. They're going to win Razzies for all these things.
Yes.
Best Actress. Now, I like Gal Gadot.
I like Gal Gadot.
But that was not a Meryl Streep level performance.
No.
She did what she could with what she was given.
I
love Kristen Wiig, but yeah.
Doing like, hi. I'm like awkward and like insecure and stuff.
Nobody plays Kristen Wiig like Kristen Wiig.
Yes.
And this, they were in the movie for 5 minutes.
I know. I was like, what?
The only reason they're here is because they shoehorned that scene in the front so they could get them in here. Because they had 2 opening scenes in this movie. There were 2.
That opening
Chris
scene.
Pine was great. Chris Pine was the best part. I thought.
I thought Pedro did a good job.
No, he was chewing scenery. He was chewing the scenery. He's all.
Yeah, but they put him in there. So I mean, for me, everyone else did a great job except for Gal. She was pretty bad. It really showed bad.
Best cinematography. You turn on all the lights and shoot it.
Best refrigerator lighting cinematography. It felt cheap. Like, go watch the first one and then watch.
It looked like a sitcom.
It really was.
Editing.
Best editing? I don't think they edited anything.
There was no film left on that cutting room floor.
It kind of reminded me of like a college project.
Like I said, like they never heard of a montage.
It's like we couldn't afford an editor, so we got this kid straight out of college to edit this video.
I don't know why we're paying somebody so much money. My nephew can do this. He's got a copy of Final Cut.
I mean, the whole movie felt like a rough draft, and even the effects, they were like maybe like a second render. They weren't even like the main render or anything.
Here's the sad part about that: they had extra time. They had time to go back. They had time to go back and polish effects. They sat on this movie for a year. They had more than enough time.
They should have done what Godzilla vs. Kong did. They knew they had extra time, so they went and fixed stuff. They went and polished it as much as they could because they had the extra time.
apparently they thought it was good.
This film had never heard of a montage to like, compress time. Best production design, sure, whatever. Best costume design, sure. Oh yeah, that cheetah costume was awesome, was it not? Definitely Oscar-worthy stuff there.
I don't even think it was a costume. I think it was all CG.
Best cheetah makeup right there. Come on, let's throw that out there. Best makeup.
I was reading an article where they were comparing it to cats and everything.
Yeah.
They said it was better than Cats CGI, but I went and I watched Cats, and I'm like, I don't know. I think Cats CGI is a little better.
I think they were comparing it to the stage play Cats, and then where they couldn't do any effects. They're on wires and crap.
So that was
Rum Tum Tigger.
I hated the part in the movie too where I actually felt like they darkened that fight scene so you wouldn't see how bad the effects were.
Probably did.
Because I remember sitting in the theater thinking, why is this so dark? Is the projector is something wrong with the projector? Like the whole time I was watching it, because I remember in the preview, in the trailer, those scenes when they put them in were brighter, weren't they?
They were. Yeah.
And then they made them darker. It was like, okay, so we're blowing it up now to cinematic, and we're like, ooh.
And I think she was like cheetah color too,
right?
In the trailers, and then she was like blue in the finished, because it was bad. And
it was just lazy.
I just remember all year saying to you, "Don't worry, those aren't finished effects," and they were. Best visual effects. The wire work was awful. The CGI was awful. This was like video game cutscene bad shit. Okay. I can't say anything. I mean, it's not the best score, but it's not awful. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw this and I was just like, this is awesome. I mean, this was the best story of the week.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't Oscar worthy, that's for sure.
It's not Oscar worthy, that's for sure.
I mean, it's if you found something in it that you liked, more power to you. And I'm not gonna razz on you for doing so, because I like some serious stinker movies myself, but it's not Oscar worthy in any stretch of the imagination.
It's not. I just remember when it was over, I was like, what happened? It was so boring. It was just boring. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I just look at the budget was $200 million, and that's what came back. Horrible effects, horrible cinematography, horrible editing, awful wire work, action scenes without action. It was unbelievable. It was just
it was lacking action.
Because in my brain, I'm replaying the first movie, going, "What the hell happened here? What the hell happened here?"
Zack Snyder wasn't part of the writing team.
Yeah.
The studio didn't get involved. That was the problem. Sometimes
I always say this. I must have said this like a dozen times. I don't get how there's not somebody in that just watching the daily and going, "Excuse me, I know you guys think this is all great, but this is a piece of shit."
Well, what happened was she got rid of Zack Snyder and she got rid of his effects people and his stunt people.
Yeah, I mean,
and they gave Patty Jenkins they gave her the keys to the car and they let her drive. Last time she had a lot of help. All the hype that came back, and it was a big successful movie, and they went, "Wow,
right.
Patty Jenkins, let's ride this thing," And,
but
he is a good director.
But I often feel like, is it like you're trying to keep your job?
Letting her produce it and write it was a huge mistake. And her getting rid of Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder has a different idea of who Wonder Woman is. You notice the sword and shield were gone. The gritty was gone. Nobody dies in this movie. There's no real, the level of violence. We talked about it last week, the kill count, right, Jude?
Yeah. I actually brought up that website. Remember, I brought the website up.
Yeah. The first movie is gritty and darker. And this one, I mean, I get it was in the 80s, and I don't know if they were trying to play off the nostalgia or make it
need to be in the 80s. That's the thing.
That's the thing. Right.
I mean, it's not like Stranger Things where that's kind of part of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They just threw it into the 80s just cause.
Yeah.
So they
There's
could have
nothing about that story that needed to
so
be.
that they can have another back to the editing. They threw it in the 80s so they could have a scene that goes on way too long of Chris Pine trying on all the goofy 80s clothes.
Yeah.
Like he puts on like 12 outfits. It's like it was funny twice, not 12 times. Like
And they showed it to you in the trailer too.
And they showed it in the trailer, right?
Yeah, it was trying to capitalize on 80s nostalgia that a lot of us 80s kids have, and it failed miserably in doing that.
Yeah.
And I think they're a little late to the party because, now that we're in the 2020 decade, it's going to be retro 90s now.
Yeah.
So they should have maybe jumped on that instead and been out in front of it instead of being the tail end of the 80s retro.
I mean, I still think the 80s sells, though. I mean, Stranger Things was based in the 80s, and people loved that.
Yeah, but Stranger Things came out 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, it's still going. It's still serious.
No, I know, but I'm saying it originated. Right now, all the talk, and you're going to see all the projects going forward are going to be retro 90s things.
Yeah, sure.
What in the 90s are they going to
It's been 30 years since the 90s, and that's what they're going to capitalize on.
90s was my time, man.
I thought Ready Player One was definitely I like the fact that they kind of injected a lot of 80s into that. And if you watch it again, Ready Player One, if you watch it again, there's a lot of little hidden things in there.
But the retro 80s thing is over now. I mean, it's definitely played out.
I agree. It is getting old. I mean, a lot of movies in the last few years have played off of that.
And while we're on retro 80s, Ghostbusters.
There you go.
So apparently, we're still waiting for this. It's going to be summer now, right? Do we have a date on this? Like getting a date on a movie release is like trying to hit a movie target.
But that's
Everything's delayed now. So, I mean, you think something's going to come out, and all of a sudden you find out, oh, crap, because of COVID.
Not everything.
I can't.
Not everything.
I know it's coming, Pete. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming soon. So anyway, apparently Jason Reitman screened this for his father, and Ivan Reitman cried.
For joy?
He must have been sitting next to Kevin Smith.
Oh God, yeah. They mentioned something that he remembers from his childhood.
My father hasn't...
Don't do that.
Jason Reitman says, my father hasn't been leaving the house much because of COVID, but he took a test, put on a mask, drove down to the Sony lot to watch the movie at the studio, and after he cried. He said, I'm so proud to be your father. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. He also explained a little bit how he approached the tone of the film, and it sounds like he's going for the more horror, scary element like the original film. The feeling that I've kind of held on to is that while it's very funny, it really scared me. It did. It had scary moments, legitimately scary moments.
Yeah.
It was really my first experience with a horror film. I was at a Directors Guild meeting, and I happened to be sitting next to Steven Spielberg. Who the fuck is that guy? And when I told him I was working on Ghostbusters, he said out of nowhere, Library Ghost, top 10 scares of all time. And it's true. It's true. When I saw that freaking movie, I got to go to a screening a week before it came out. I won a call into the radio station. I didn't know what I was going to see. I just won tickets to something. And that scared me. I was
1, 2, 3, get her.
Yeah, that scared me. That was legitimately scary. And some of the stuff toward the end with Zool and,
it was.
And Gozer, and that's what made Ghostbusters work, in my opinion, is that they treated it like a straight up horror science fiction movie. That the comedic actors were just reacting to real world things.
Yeah.
Those 4 guys were just kind of like, it was their reaction to it and their indifference to a lot of it that made it work. Where the one they remade a few years ago with all the girls from SNL was just like, hey, I got a joke to tell. I got a joke to tell. Hey, I got a joke to tell too. And it was just, no, that's not, the tone was so wrong.
Yeah, they don't know the meaning of the word subtlety. They all have to be stars of the scene.
It's true. From scene to scene, they were trying to out big.
Yeah, they're trying to outdo each other, and it's just you can't do that.
No.
Well, the comedy was over the top. It wasn't even good comedy. It was just overacted comedy bullshit.
Well, Paul Feig's directing style is he just says, okay, everyone improv, and he just lets the camera go. And they just go and go and go and go. And to try to cobble a cohesive narrative together from 2 hours worth of improv in the end. I mean, You can't direct like that. You've got to be everything in the original Ghostbusters was deliberate.
Yeah.
And well timed, and it was you yes, they improv'd a line here or there. Like this man has no dick. But it was in spots like that where it didn't affect the moving the plot forward, moving the story ahead. It was just
Best improv has structure. Like watch Waiting for Guffman, watch Best in Show, watch A Mighty Wind. Those are all highly structured movies.
Final Tap.
But they're all improv, but they all know where the story needs to go, so they don't go too far out of the borders.
Not a brainstorming session. I think that's what people think. Improvisation, brainstorm. Just solve a problem, or you forget your lines. Is this stay in character, and you keep on going until someone says cut.
That's basically what happened with Paul Feig's movie. They kept going until he yelled cut.
Yeah, you saw that. You saw a lot of those jump cuts where McCarthy would do all her lines and everything.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. Yeah, you could see it.
And they didn't make like a quick glib comment. They had to keep going on and on and on.
And I don't think they worked as a team either. Like I don't think they played good off each other at all. They just all had just their own personalities, but that was it. They didn't intermingle very well.
Right. I'm saving a story for Edson. He's usually here by now. Edson, if you're watching, are you coming tonight or are you sitting this one out? Just want to know because I have a story here. Pete, we have arrived. We have arrived, and in fact, I went the extra mile for you this week.
Oh boy!
And I snipped the clip and I brought it in here to StreamYard.
All 2 seconds of it?
Yes, we have the first footage from Godzilla vs. Kong. Are you ready?
Oh boy! It's like 1962 all over again.
Oh God, I remember watching that on a Sunday.
I'm messing with you. I got it right here. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's watch it again. And for a third time, in case you blinked.
Zilla.
That's all.
Wow. Yeah.
It was part of a HBO Max promo.
Yeah.
And it was the first shot in there, so I clipped it out.
Yeah, we could use a trailer, WB. If you're going to tag us for copyright infringement, we could use a fucking trailer.
Yeah, it's coming out soon, so
Yeah, it's coming out in March.
Yeah,
like March 27th or something like that. It's coming out real soon.
Yeah.
So here it is.
It's been pushed up it's been pushed up 2 months.
Yeah, it will do like Memorial Day, right? Weekend.
In a surprise move. Perhaps the best news in a year. Yeah, exactly. They moved it forward instead of backward, and it's going to come out March 26th instead of Memorial Day. And they say a lot of it's because of the money that Wonder Woman made.
Yeah, because Legendary had a lawsuit about Godzilla and Dune, and apparently this is the result. It's going to get the same treatment as Wonder Woman. It's going to be in the theaters at the same time.
Right.
And boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to that.
Yeah. So it's Legendary wasn't notified about WB's intentions for the 2 movies the 2 studios are working together on. Was afraid the money was being left on the table. This is to port it straight to HBO Max at the same time, the same day it goes to the theater. They also produced the Denis Villeneuve-helmed Dune remake for an October release. If its fate changes in any way, it remains to be seen. On Godzilla vs. Kong, Legendary and Warner Brothers have come to an agreement. According to Deadline, allegedly the MonsterVerse producer, having ponied up 75% of the film's budget, was reimbursed for production costs. So, and that was originally, remember, if we go back a few months, Netflix offered the production cost of $150 million to buy it outright and put it on Netflix.
That's right.
And Legendary turned it down.
That's right.
And then it wasn't long after that, Legendary got they got pantsed by Warner Brothers.
That's right.
They could have made their money back on it, turned it down. Then Warner Brothers comes along and gives them a reach around, and kind of left them holding the bag. So I'm glad they at least got their money back. Making a profit will depend on international ticket sales. Something tells me this is going to do gangbusters in Japan, maybe.
They do pretty well in Japan, yeah.
And China. Domestic theaters still aren't fully operational, and those that don't go under may not be functioning in capacity by March. No, they won't be at capacity, but I think a lot more of them will be open. Mm-hmm. Legendary might feel ambivalent. As long as the popcorn's being sold, I'm going.
Yep.
Though this new release
in
date.
the seat warmer. I had the seat warmers.
So clearly, Wonder Woman 1984 was a financial success.
So why
they're grading it on a curve because of the coof, and that's fine. Legendary isn't so scared of the hybrid release anymore, and chances are they are being received a big payment from WB. So very little is actually needed to recoup production costs, which is probably all they want at this point. Yeah. And that's what I think. I think in 2021, they're just looking to recoup their costs. They're and not even the marketing cost, just the production cost. And
what marketing?
Right.
Look at how
happy.
There's been absolutely no marketing for this movie.
No, Godzilla's so happy. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. That cute little smile. That puppy dog face.
Well, here's my question. I think Wonder Woman 1984 was super hyped. But the problem with those movies is after you get done watching it, you can't ask for a refund.
Yep.
At least if you buy something and it sucks, you can say, fuck this, I'm returning it. With Wonder Woman, I mean, I believe the hype. I think everybody else believed the hype. And I believe the hype so much, I actually went to the movies for the first time in over a year. And I didn't get anything back.
Well, these movies are
Nope.
But
I got to hang out with my friends.
So you got quality time with us.
I got quality time with my friends, and we got popcorn and candy and drank sodas, and
it's like it's when you buy something, as is. It's just, it is what it is. And you know what?
Man.
You can go into this with much lower expectations because all you're going to get is a fight between two giant monsters. Mm-hmm. And if you're expecting character development or people you care about in this film, ain't happening, man.
Yeah, it's got just enough character development to move the plot along, but really, it's about two monsters punching each other for 2 hours.
What celebrities are in it? I can't even tell.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, she's in it. This one too.
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler.
Again, Bobby Brown should be in jail for beating on Millie Whitney Houston for all those years.
Oh, stop it.
So, Pete, did they ever have a Godzilla in outer space?
No, but they had a Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla.
They probably had a Freddy, or was it Jason versus Godzilla?
Jason versus Godzilla. Just jumping on him.
There's a Godzilla versus Barney trailer out there.
No, there is not. That's terrible.
There's a really good Godzilla versus Barney trailer out there.
Yeah.
So the HBO Max thing, we got another auteur coming out.
I hate this guy. I hate him.
What? Okay, we'll get to that hatred in a minute, Jude.
God.
Got to talk about. You shouldn't be.
It was amazing.
No.
Either way, he's an auteur and he's not happy. He says, you only have to guess at what my reaction is to this. And this is the straight to HBO Max deal. Mm-hmm. Said the Sixth Sense director. I don't support it at all. And especially without talking to the filmmakers. It's obviously corporate driven. And I feel bad for all my colleagues that found out that way and are dealing with it now. It's not the answer. So these colleagues include Tenet director Christopher Nolan, Dune Helmer Denis Villeneuve, and Patty Jenkins until they gave her $10 million to shut her mouth, and she took it.
She's smart. There you go.
So yeah, I'm still waiting to hear Quentin Tarantino, but he's not on the WB, so he's not going to say anything. But
are they striking a deal with them that they get their bonuses with less amount of sales that they make in the box office? But they're getting their bonuses and everything. So
the problem is,
I mean, because if they're still getting their guaranteed bonuses and everything, and they're working on all that stuff, I don't see what's the problem, unless they're making less. But it doesn't seem like they're making less.
Well, the issue too is that it's going to, in the short term, that might work, but in the long term, it's not going to. Like budgets are going to be squeezed. They're not going to make $1 billion off something going on streaming anymore. Like it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get those box office gates that you used to. So all these actors that are used to their $20 million payday and whatnot are not going to get that anymore. I mean, they might be able to get it now, but
it's going to take a
over
long time for that to rebound.
Yeah, to rebound. But this way. Well, this is my thing with movies. I think sometimes the cost of making these films is too much and everything.
Oh, I agree.
The post production people get screwed in the end. They're outsourcing, and everything like that. So, I think it's a good thing in some ways for actors not to get much.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm a theater guy. I want to go to the theater, and I know there's plenty of distractions, and it can be a miserable experience at the same time. But I want to see things on the big screen, and I want the sound system to like rattle the teeth out of my skull, and that's what I want.
Yeah, me too. I want that, but
absolutely.
But Aaron, you're a DP, Aaron, and I'd rather watch like your stuff on a big screen, even like independent stuff, than on a smaller screen.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. Like,
oh yeah,
I've worked with you, and I know how hard you work for your image, and I don't want to sit there on my couch and watch that. I want to see that projected, in a theater.
Oh yeah, me too. I love to do it. For me, I understand all this stuff because of COVID. And I, it's not going to be, as soon as this COVID gets under control, it's going to bounce back. Thing like that. But having the hybrid, I don't mind the hybrid, thing. Because some movies I don't like. Definitely, if I'm paying for a streaming service, that was my big pet peeve with Disney Plus with Mulan. I said, wait a minute, I'm paying all this money. I'm paying this money, and all of a sudden I got paid $30 to watch this film. I'm like, hell no. I didn't pay that $30 because the movie wasn't that good at all. It wasn't. So I think HBO Max, from looking at their consumers, they saw that backlash and everything like that, and they're like, okay, well, how about we do this? How about we just, we put out in theaters, we make the money. If you want to stay home, and everything, because if you look at it, Wonder Woman probably made the same amount of money that it would have made, right?
No,
I don't know. I think if they had done direct to video on demand, it would be. I think they would have made more money off of, like, if you charged, $20 on the video on demand service instead of have to have HBO Max.
HBO Max didn't get the subscriber bump they wanted. I think they went from like 8.6 million to about 12. They want to be in the 100 million range.
Yeah.
And they're way short of that.
And it's not gonna happen anytime soon.
No.
They're screwing up because they have too much HBO stuff out there. They just have to make it HBO Max to call it a day. But I don't know. I just think that, for me, I think they're doing it right. I know a lot of people are going to be upset, but I think from a consumer standpoint, they're doing it right. Because I think a lot of people are pissed off at streaming. Look, I'm paying this much for streaming. Why do I have to pay this much for this?
Streaming is completely out of control.
Well, but I also think there are a lot of people that would want to see it from home that won't subscribe to one of the streaming services, that would rather just pay to watch. Maybe that should be a third option,
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is. It's going to be. It is. The model.
What's that?
Did they release it as video on demand?
No, they didn't.
They are.
No, they didn't.
No, they
haven't.
They are. They are. So the model is, it's going off HBO Max this week.
Okay.
It's 30 days. That's it. So the 25th or 26th, it's gone. It stays in the theaters, and then it's going to loop back, I think, 30 days from now and be available on VOD for 30 days. Am I right about that, Edson?
Yep. That's
and then at the end of that 30 days, it goes back on HBO Max again.
Okay.
And then the theaters they can do whatever they want, keep it, lose it, whatever they want to do.
I could see them having that into the summer, like some.
My thing with this model is that it's the devil's in the door thing. It's not like they're going to go back to the old way, and the theaters are going to get hosed on this in the long run, and it's slowly driving theaters out of business.
I don't know. People want to get out of their goddamn house. Like, I think if they, especially when they feel more comfortable, I think people are gonna want to go to the movies. I just think so. I don't know.
We'll have to see. There's only one way to find out, and that's to do it.
Yep.
I also think it's also a generational thing. I think most kids these days don't mind sitting there, laying in their bed, watching a movie on this. For us, growing up and going to a movie, was a big deal back in the day, especially with your family. Like when my dad said we were going to see a movie, we get the newspaper out, we find the movie we wanted to see, and it was like an outing. These days, they just take it for granted. The kids are just like, oh, I'll just watch it on my phone. And I mean, I shouldn't say that with a whole generation. I'm just saying maybe some people of a certain generation are just accustomed to watching everything on a small screen and they don't care. So if it's watered down, it's watered down, you know?
What's Baxter think? He's clearly voicing his opinion.
Oh boy. Baxter thinks.
Are you watching? Is anybody watching?
Baxter thinks I've already had 2 helpings of wet food. What? I need a third.
What is it?
Huh? Oh. He's 20 years old. You have to excuse him.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a really old cat.
He's 20 years old, so he probably doesn't even remember he ate 15 minutes ago.
But prior to this crisis, we had record numbers coming to the theaters. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And they're probably never going to go back that way. I mean, you had Captain Marvel get record numbers there, and it's like
$1 billion.
It wasn't even that. Yeah. So that's the thing. And Keith is right. Once it starts, it's not going to go back, even if we have everything clear out there.
Get a free vaccination when you go see a movie now.
No, it's this. No, it's because
it won't matter.
If it's on TV for free, you're not going.
Right.
You're not going.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think they might change that, once COVID happens. I think they might.
No.
Less 85-inch TVs become a thing.
No, because what happens is Warner Brothers owns the property. Warner Brothers distributes the movie. They put it directly on their own service. They keep 100% of the profits from that. Why would they want to split it with? They don't want to split it with Cinemark or AMC or Regal.
They don't have incentive to go back. Yep.
They don't have any incentive to share profits with the theater. None.
Well,
None.
I think
they're trying to put them under. They're trying to put them under. They cut out the middleman. And that they've wanted to do this for a long time, and they got the excuse to do it, to accelerate it. You're going to see theaters take a plunge. You're going to see like independent mom and pops, little 1 and 2 screen. The big boxes are going to die. They're going to die.
Yeah,
they can't sustain themselves if they can't put the Avengers on 10 screens or Star Wars on 10 screens, because it's all on. They're developing most of the bigger Marvel stuff, and the Star Wars stuff is all for streaming. They're not putting much out in the theater. They don't have big plans for big blockbuster movies anymore. It's all streaming.
Well, unless they open up their own theater. That might be.
And there are schools of thought that what they're trying to do. It's like when you lower property value and then buy up the buildings.
Yeah.
That they're going to lower the value of these theater chains, so they have to sell, and then they swoop in and buy them. And now you have the WB theater, the Paramount theater, the Sony theater, and now they put them. Now they get 100% of the profit from the theater too.
I can definitely see that happening. I want to put it past them because of that. But I don't. Yeah, I don't think theaters are going to be dead as a place of view. I just don't see that happening, because just like with plays and everything, still play television, end of that, people still go and do that. But I don't see that because it's an outing, it's an event, family. People crave that, and I just see these movie theaters, production companies still wanting that to the fans. The fans are calling for it, and everything. Even you might say, as much as you say, Jude, all these kids like to watch this stuff on, on their phones. They love to go to a movie theater still, and everything.
And then play games on their phones while they're watching.
Well, No, I agree with that, but I think it's when your dad or your mom says, "Hey, kids, let's get off the couch and go to a movie," that they're more influenced to go see a movie, as opposed to being by themselves and just saying, especially if you're 13, 14, going, "Hey guys, want to go to a movie tonight?" You know what I mean?
It's still a high school hangout away from the house.
Yeah, there's really not a lot else to do when you're that age. So
like it was like going to the mall for us when your friends called up and said, "Let's go to the mall," and you're like, "Damn right!" And now you're hanging out with a bunch of friends and you said, "Let's go to the mall." What would they say?
There's another discussion for another show. How long do malls have left? So welcome to the show, Edson.
Malls.
Mr. Wanda Maximoff has joined us.
Taking a page out of your book.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not Mr. Cara Dune this week. I'm Grogu.
I know.
Sorry. I saved this one for you, Edson, because I think you're the only one who's actually read this book.
Yeah, it's so ironic that you have this on here. I just got done with, and I buy this series in a with a trade paper. I just got done with volume 4, which is the issues 17 through 20, and it was so good. It's to me, but I've never even come across this, that they were making it into a series, TV series.
Yeah, I saw this the other day, and I thought of you immediately, so I tagged it.
This is so perfect for the TV. I mean, it's like each issue that with this comic is its own contained story. So it's like it says, it's like an anthology of self-contained story. Like, so each issue could be an episode. It's perfect for it.
Right. So he's Ice Cream Man is basically Rod Serling, correct?
Yeah, but he's much more scarier, I think.
Okay, he's evil Rod Serling.
Yep.
Eviler.
Evil, much more eviler.
Because he also, well, I know Rod Serling did this a couple times too, but he also like gets himself involved into the story in some way, and gets the characters in more trouble than, like, he more instigates the story as well.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to read this at some point, especially now that it's being adapted. But I'm looking forward to it. So
I think this will be great.
The funny part is they were developing it for Quibi.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Isn't Quibi out of business, or did somebody buy it?
It is now. Yeah. So the article actually goes into how they work, and now they're not.
Well, they said in the title, very much still alive, unlike Quibi.
Unlike Quibi, right? Yeah,
so they're moving on from Quibi. It's still being developed, but they're moving on from Quibi. But they leave that kind of up in the air, like more coming soon.
That's good.
So,
someone just bought.
Who do you think's going to buy it? Netflix?
Quibi got bought by some company.
Did they?
Yeah, they just got bought. I was reading an article. I can't remember. But so it's not dead.
Maybe Roku.
Roku, yes, Roku did. Yes, Roku bought Quibi. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody know in the comments? Let us know who bought Quibi.
Yeah.
It just
Roku did. It's Roku.
Yeah. I've been pulling long hours this week. I didn't have a chance to read this article. I tried to read as many as I could, but I was like, you know what? Edson knows what he's talking about.
It's a great comic.
So you're talking, this is a must-see TV then?
I mean, I'm definitely very interested in it. If they do it right, like we said, I think it'll be a big hit. I mean, the comic just took the whole industry by force. It became like the Image Comics, and it just became their like #1 comic right from the beginning. So I hope they do it right.
Has anybody else read this comic book? Anybody?
No, but I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
It's kind of like a departure from how they're doing it more recently with the 6-part storylines, and this is just like each story is self-contained in each comic.
Nice, kind of like a Black Mirror type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Yeah, the 6-part storylines are because, I mean, let's face it, there's no money in comics. And all these comic book writers want to end up in Hollywood. They want to do the streaming shows, or they want to make a movie. So you do the 6-issue arc, which is a perfectly contained story for a film or whatnot. So that's why they're writing them. They want to get plucked and moved on.
Right.
And so yeah, one-off comics are rare these days. So
right. Yep.
I'd like to read some stuff.
I never even. I mean, it got to like issue 12 before I'm like when I saw this come out, I'm like, I'm not going to get into this. It's like it's a one-off. I haven't read any of these in such a long time, but then I started seeing the articles how it was selling so much, and I'm like, maybe I got to give it a shot. And I didn't think I'd be interested in the one-off story, but it's great.
Cool. Yeah, I want to read something one-off. It's hard sometimes when you go a while between and you have to remember what's going on, and it'd be nice to just be able to sit down and read something that I don't have to remember something. I'm getting old. I can't remember this shit. Who show of hands, who's watched WandaVision episodes 1 and 2? 3 of us? That's it? You call yourselves nerds? You're on GeekTime TV and you haven't watched it? For shame. It's only 40 minutes.
I'm sorry.
It's only 40 minutes of your time. It's all right.
Well, actually, 22 and a half minutes of your time. If you
to not bore the 4 people on our panel here who haven't seen it, but quickly, let's get some thoughts from the people who have seen it. Starting with you, Stacy. What was your thought?
I definitely need to watch again because I feel like I needed to do homework a little bit, like to kind of
you do
to make some connections, with some of the things that were in. Not so much the old sitcom things because I got a lot of those references, even though it's a lot. Some of those are a little bit for my time. Bewitched, I watched, but I didn't really watch Dick Van Dyke Show or anything. So I'm excited because I think they move forward, right? Like as the season progresses,
right.
There will be like shows in the 70s. That's 70s, and those were my time frame as a kid watching all those sitcoms. So, but I mean, I was very confused at first. I didn't know what to expect. So I was like, what is happening? Is this just going to, I didn't know. But then it kind of you got the little hints of, something bigger than where they were and all that stuff. So I'm interested in watching more for sure. It's different.
So just to back up the truck a little bit, as Alan likes to say, before we get to Edson's opinion, the show starts out, it's 4:3 black and white. First 2 episodes. And the second episode, they can start putting sprinkles of color here and there, a lot like Pleasantville. And it really feels like an old Bewitched or Leave It to Beaver, like one of those classic 50s.
Corny story. Fine.
Corny, like hammy acting. They have the canned laugh track.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Vision swallows the gum and they have the cartoon
up to work.
The gears all turning and it goes in there and stops them from turning. And
he acted drunk, like he made it drunk.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The performances are outstanding. Edson, what your thoughts?
You just said it. The performances were outstanding. I mean, obviously, you knew from the trailer that it was going to have this kind of 50s sitcom back, and I wasn't sure at all how I would like it. But the cast just made it so enjoyable. They especially. Vision and Scarlet Witch, Paul Bettany, and Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen are so good with each other. They play that old sitcom so well.
Yeah, they nailed it.
It's like they do things with such precision, and it's like the slight hesitations, the looking kind of what's going on, and how they just handle all the absurdity of it. It was so enjoyable. I was so pleasantly surprised about this. Of course, like Stacy said, they throw in all the little clues that something's not quite right. Even the supporting cast, Catherine Hahn with neighbor Agnes.
She's in everything. This woman, she is in everything.
She was so good.
Awesome.
The best line was they're in that planning committee, and she goes, "Does anyone do this sober?" And I was like, thought that's so perfect for the story and for us who's been going through it last year.
Yeah.
Right.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I was going to mention Catherine Hahn, and I think she's the linchpin to the whole whatever's going on here.
Not the mean lady.
No, that's not the mean lady. She's a red herring. I think. I think. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. Like you, I didn't know where it was going to go. Because they showed the elements of the sitcom, they showed the goofy stuff going on, and I didn't know how that fit in because the trailer's got the color stuff in it too.
Yeah,
right. That's true.
And I didn't know where to concentrate sometimes on just the silly story or like the kind of extra little bits that were kind of here and there. I think that was what I was confused by. But
yeah, so clearly one of the characters is definitely heavy in crisis, and we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, and it's building towards something, and it's supposed to dovetail directly into the Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
So, you brought up a good point because Pete's been saying this since they announced a lot of these shows, these Marvel shows. Kevin Feige has made it clear that these are part of the MCU, and if you want to go to the movies that are coming out, you have to watch the shows because they all tie together. And Pete's been saying, what have you been saying the whole time, Pete?
I'm not doing homework to watch a movie.
Thank you. And what's the first thing you said, Stacy?
I had to do homework to I definitely did because I've seen all the Marvel movies, but I forget those little things, and you have to look at the little things oh, what does that mean? What is that symbol? just.
I think some of the biggest
But
clues are in the fake
fact that
ads.
this is only a
The fake ads for
But-
sure.
the fact that this is only a 6-episode series. Now, if this was like 22 episodes and it's going to go on for 4 seasons, I believe. Fuck you, Kevin Feige. I ain't watching it. But the fact that it's only 6 episodes.
I think
and
it's
they're only
9
22
episodes
minutes
actually,
apiece,
but
I think I can stomach this.
It's a time
Yeah,
filler. It's not extreme.
I think the nice thing about the Marvel series in particular, they're event series. They're not going to have seasons 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5.
Right. It doesn't
It's one
drag
and done,
Mhm.
and it's to bridge one movie to the next.
That's fun.
And they're getting the A-list. They're bringing their A-listers back. They're not
Exactly.
recasting. They're not cutting corners.
Mhm.
9 minutes of credits. 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So they got the full A team on this,
Mm.
and it shows.
So is it 9 minutes before credits or 9 minutes after?
No, end credits. 9 minutes of end credits.
And there's nothing at the end there, so it's not worth
No,
it.
you don't have to
stay through them. So-
no. Yeah, I kept looking. There's nothing there.
Yeah, me too. I let it roll. Dang, this is taking forever.
But I think what they do, they break up the episode with a fake, because it's in the 50s, they would have a fake sponsor ad.
Right.
Like Smoke of Aramis. And they have a Tony
Toaster.
Stark Industries toaster
Yep.
in the first one and a Hydra wristwatch in the second
Yep.
The Strucker watch.
one. So, right, the Von Strucker watch.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun, Pete. I have to admit, I had to salt up my foot and jam it in my mouth because I was with you. I'm like, screw Marvel and screw these shows, and I'm not paying for all this garbage, and I'm canceling Disney Plus. And guess what? I'm not doing
Got you
anything.
on the hook now. They know what they're doing. They're not total F-ups.
But like we said, it's like a limited series. So I mean, if the next one's he doesn't have to keep watching. He just finish this series and that's it.
Yeah, because I'm expecting, oh god, this is gonna go on like Stranger Things, just 3, 4, 5 seasons of the same shit happening over and over again. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
the thing I like
if-
about this, well, it's playing against your expectations because they're offering you fresh content from different angles, and I like that. It's not just the same old storytelling. They're actually approaching different type of storytelling techniques here.
I if you guys have Disney Plus, I know Aaron, Jason, if you got Disney Plus, I know Jude does.
Yeah, I do.
I would recommend when we're done here tonight, put the 45 minutes in. You'll love it.
Okay.
I think you'll really like it. Especially because Jason, I know you're a fan of Umbrella Academy, and that's really bizarre. So I think you'll like the offbeat eccentricity of this.
Yeah, and if the MCU is going in this direction, I'm all about it because I think it needs a fresh new coat of paint, and I think shows like this could offer that.
That's a brilliant way to express that, which is why I like Thor Ragnarok a lot, and I love the Guardians movies because they're not that formula Marvel thing with the we got 23 movies and like 18 or 19 of them are so formula.
You have to vary it up. You have to
but also I think what was nice about the MCU movies was that it did bring comic book characters that people normally wouldn't have picked up on a comic book to read a household name. Like my mom knows who Captain America is now, and my mom knows who Iron Man is, and so they were selling those characters to an audience that never cared about comics, and all of a sudden now it's cool to like those comic book heroes. So I don't know if this particular series will appeal to everybody.
Technically, they don't care about comics still, but
but I mean those characters, like I mean everybody. I mean you could put Iron Man on a lunchbox, or I don't even know if kids have lunchboxes anymore. But you know what I mean? Like everybody knows who Iron Man is now. Every little kid knows. But before,
right.
So I mean, so this WandaVision series, I think it plays to people who are actually true comic book probably readers.
I don't
know anybody else who's watching except for people that are interested in, something that's a little bit more outside of the realm of just wham bam, just watching a hero movie.
I don't know. I disagree. I think people who are watching this are fans of the Avengers, and if they like Vision,
maybe. I mean, I'm just curious to know how much appeal this would have for the casual Marvel hero person.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
Just based on his look, it seems like it. The hit that back in the day Bewitched feeling and everything. So that's will make people have interest.
Yeah, it's fun. Like,
it's different.
people in our age bracket, Aaron, we grew up watching those shows, so you get that nostalgia vibe right away. And they nail it. They nail every detail.
Yeah.
Especially, I said, there's a great scene in the second episode where Vision accidentally swallows a piece of gum, which I love the line that precedes it, where he pulls out the gum, and they're like, that. He goes, "This isn't food; it's for mastication." And the guy next to him goes, "I don't do that."
We just been talking about that. Where were we talking about?
Yeah, we were. And then he chews the gum, and they pat him on the back, and he swallows it, and they cut to like a cartoon of the gum going down into the gears and gumming them all up. It's just hilarious. And then fake laughter's going on.
Oh my god, a lot of fake laughter happening.
Well, this is a question for Aaron. Massimo, your son, he's probably what, 6, 7 now?
He just turned 8.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Cecilia's gonna be 6.
What's his favorite comic book, like the MCU movies? What's his favorite character?
Oof, let me think for a second right there. He's Spider-Man. He likes Spider-Man. He likes who else he likes? He likes Black Panther. And I think he likes he had an Iron Man and a Captain America phase and everything like that, So I mean, he's not really, who's his favorite character? Mario and Luigi. And Sonic.
That's awesome.
That's what he likes and everything. I'll be honest, but he likes Spider-Man a lot, And
I'm just curious to see what a demographic of kids, what Marvel movies they appeal to, and I guess Spider-Man would be a good kid.
He likes the Spider-Man and everything like that. For the longest time, actually, he liked if you go to DC, he liked Superman. He was into the old Christopher Reeves movies. He liked Man of Steel.
Yeah, those are great.
He really liked Man of Steel for the longest time and everything. He likes Batman. He likes the Batman cartoons and everything. So that's what he likes a lot too and everything. But he likes Yoshi and Mario.
Yeah, Yoshi, my daughter likes Yoshi.
Classic.
So,
Mario.
Yeah.
So I don't pay attention to the critics on WandaVision or any of these because they're shills, and we'll get to that when we get to Batwoman. But the audience score I pay attention to, and it came in with an 84% so far, and this is a couple days old.
That's pretty good.
But of course, people
These
have
are all the complaints. Although, like in the article, it's all
people have to have problems
negative
with it. The Twitterverse has to
has to
come in.
After just reading that.
Yeah. So there's. It was funny when it aired the other night. The YouTubers we follow in the Fandom Menace were all saying, "How long before Twitter has a problem with this?" And it took a day. But the typical, the woman of the house bullshit, and
Yeah, because it's reflecting what was on the
right.
shows that were in.
They don't care, Stacey. They want to rewrite history to fit their narrative, and that's all they care about.
They just have to watch. They just have to watch Cobra Kai, and they'll just.
I watched this last night.
Keith, did you drink during it, or
no? I laughed my ass off.
At least you got something out of it.
So, this is really interesting. So, their ratings plummeted, and this was a season 2 premiere with a new actress, and it had ratings worse than any season 1. And I pulled this here. So the Showbuzz scorecard. So this was the Sunday night ratings, and here we go on the CW. We have Batwoman here, right? It came in, had 663,000 viewers, under 1 million. And what's really interesting is they failed in their primary demographic, which is 18 to 34, 0.1.
Wow.
0.1 here as well. And they tried to blame the football, but I find it hard to believe that people who watch Batwoman on the CW want to watch football instead.
Right.
They can say whatever they want, because the NFL got 29 million and they got 663,000, and they failed in their primary demographic spectacularly. So I'm terrible at math, but 0.1% of 663,000 is what? what's that? 10%. That's what?
600.
Bad. It's bad. 600 and no.
66,300.
66,000. 66,000. Thank you. God. Public school math.
Hey.
No
math.
So yeah, it looks like the only thing that did worse than that was All American Horror Stories in the next time slot. Really bottomed out. But it's funny because I think adults 50 plus, they had a bigger share. So they they doubled their audience in like old white guys. So I think it's pretty funny. And if you go over to Rotten Tomatoes, it dropped. When this show started, it was at 25% audience.
Wow.
Wow.
It continues to drop. So let's go into the deets. So, of course, the top critics, they're down to 52. They were high yesterday, so the shills were out. But you look at the audience score, look at the disparaging the difference here. This was hot garbage.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What? Damn.
It was 25 when the show started, Pete. So it's dropped since we started the show.
Yikes.
This
what
is
was
dead
the rating with Rose?
I'm sorry?
What were the ratings like when Rose was out there?
Probably not good. How do I get to season 1?
I'd like to see the comparison, like just to see and stuff like that.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't expect this show to do good. When they announced that they were changing her to Black Girl. No, that's serious.
Slightly ahead of pace. This show is so poorly written. I can't wait to do my review tomorrow. I cannot wait. And I know I'm way late to the party because this thing aired Sunday, and it's like all of YouTube's already reviewed it and trashed it. But it was spectacularly bad. And you know what really bothers me more than anything, and forget about like how poorly it's written and how poorly acted, and I'll put this in the review. The thing that really bothered me, there's two things. One, they have that CW model on their superhero shows where the hero has two people sitting in a computer center telling you where to go and what to do. They have that same fucking
Thank you, Smallville. Thank you, Smallville.
Right? Every fucking show. And the other thing is, like, she finds the costume. I can't even tell you, like, in a plane crash. Then she puts it on and becomes the superhero.
Well, Ray found a lightsaber in a basement, so.
Like, Bruce Wayne trained for 15 years in all forms of martial arts and trained his body to not feel pain and to be able to tolerate all weather elements, to be the best possible crime fighter he could. But on the CW, you just got to put on a costume.
So it's Mary Sue, basically.
Oh, it's beyond a Mary
God,
Sue.
yeah.
What's it? Yeah. Once I was reading an article that they're going to say that she has ties to the organization that the father created, that what is it? That military group and everything that protects the super rich and everything. What's the name of, I forgot the name of the group and everything. But she's supposed to have some type of ties there, so she is a skilled martial artist based on the backstory from the producers that
they had some cringy dialogue about that in the premiere where like they were like martial arts, why don't you go teach at a dojo? And she's like, because I'm a convict. It was I don't want to give away, but it was so bad. And there's this one scene where she just like she spouts the thank you, con guy, my math skills are season 2 just went up 4 points, 21. She just sits there and like reads these. She rattles off all these statistics about oppression, like in a sewer. It's bad. I don't want to give any more away. It's just garbage. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. But she's cute, and it's a shame. And if she was smart, she'll do one season and get the hell out of there before it ruins her career.
I hope so. All right,
well, speaking of ruined careers, I just step right into these segues sometimes, don't I? Right in the poop. Amber
It gets on your shoe, and you got to scrape it off, and
So
She
strange.
won't. What is wrong with this woman? She's broken. Like this poor guy. He'll never get away from her.
I know.
It's because she lost the court case, so now she's gonna take him back and try to get it reversed by finding shit on him.
It's so strange.
So she's asking the production companies to give
Quite literally.
Yeah, literally. She's asking. She's pressing for paperwork and details related to Depp's activities during the filming, including shooting and reshooting on Pirates of the Caribbean from Disney. Specifically, circumstances surrounding the actor's suffering of now famous finger injury, but also wishes for Disney to provide a virtual deposition on February 18th. The Aquaman star is seeking all information relating to documents and communication of any nature on Depp and incidents of drug or alcohol use, including suspected drug or alcohol use, any delays or tardiness caused by Mr. Depp, any incidents of violence or abuse by Mr. Depp, and any info on impute the actor had or hiring or casting or disagreeing with writers, directors, or producers with the filming, editing, and or release of Pirates 5. So this one kills me right here because this is like the big thing these days. Like you're guilty just by being suspect. You don't even have to have the evidence. Just give me. Did you suspect him of being on anything? That's good enough. We'll nail him.
Burn the witch.
Yeah, seriously. What is wrong with this woman?
Yeah,
she's just trying to go back to court and discredit him and get the verdict reversed because she lost their divorce case.
Right. She's gonna wind up using footage from the actual Pirates of the Caribbean movie where he stumbles around drinking and stuff. That's good enough.
Look, he's got a bottle of rum. He's got a bottle of rum. Look at him. Look at him. He's a drunk.
Look at his bad makeup job. Right there.
Yeah. So she wants everything dating back to January 1st, 2018. So she's going back 3 years to get anything she can.
Oh my word!
She
doesn't have anything real.
Right, and let's say she's a narcissist herself, right? She's a adult pretender, a meat puppet, and I'm sure she's had like disagreements with writers, directors, and producers herself on many a project. Like, oh, she's so squeaky clean. I'm sure she never complained about any of her dialogue or my part's too small and I don't like the way I'm lit. And yeah, okay, Amber, we believe you. So it's a shame. I mean, whether he's an asshole or not, I just don't understand what's going on here. It's really, really weird. And people ask why I'm still single and it's shit like this.
There might be a reason though. They kind of maybe deserve each other. Like, I don't really know his business, but
they don't call it Holly weird for nothing.
They could be two peas,
Oh, I'm sure Johnny Depp's eccentric.
I'm sure there was probably some pee going on too.
He's probably danced around while talking to you.
You brought it up. Oh no, not this asshole.
This one's for Pete. This one's for Pete.
He's haunted again.
What did he do now?
Oh, you didn't.
It's a really long.
It's long, and we'll read it.
I read the whole thing.
Can you imagine being this guy's psychiatrist? You'd be like, "Oh my god, your fucking time's up, bro. You gotta leave."
Oh my god! Look at all this.
Yeah. First of all, he must not have an agent because at this point, an agent would be like, "Dude, your career is on fire. What are you doing?"
I mean, I feel really bad if the stuff that he's talking about really happened. You know what I mean?
Probably did. I think
it's not the appropriate forum, though. That's right. My issue.
No, it's definitely not the appropriate forum.
Well,
it's just very unprofessional.
I'm sure shit happened, but I think he's being a little naive about some of it too. Because again, when you go back, you track this back to the very beginning. This was like the Justice League was his first major movie ever. So he has no idea what it's like to be in a $200 million pressure cooker, especially this pressure cooker where they had to change directors, do a bunch of reshoots. They were going over budget. It was a mess. And he was complaining about his parts being altered. So anyway, the fact that he airs it out on Twitter, though,
that's the thing. That's
really... has never provided any receipts for any of this stuff. He just said, that shit happened. Or where's the receipts, Ray?
Right. No.
So let's go right to the tweet. This is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear God.
Do we want to read
again? I feel like I'm a psychiatrist when you read this stuff.
No, you can summarize.
I mean, enough's enough, man.
Well, he's attacking Walter Hamada again, who's the president of DC Films, and this is probably not a good idea to do that.
You don't go out to dinner with this guy.
And he's saying that Walter's basically in save his own ass mode, and that he's using all these steps to discredit Ray and to protect himself and protect Jeff Johns and protect John Byrne.
Yeah, it seems like Jeff Johns is the guy who
Hamada's contract to like 2022, and they fired this guy. Where's the saving your ass mode?
Yeah, it's actually bigger right here. It's easier to read right here. So Walter's purposeful attempt to undermine the Justice League investigation in order to protect his friend and former co-president Jeff Johns. Walter's attempt to protect himself by contributing to the public dissemination of lies and misinformation about myself and the Justice League investigation in Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to the Wrap. Bear in mind, Walter Hamada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a completely separate issue than the investigation itself, and while Walter's behavior was not a point of focus for the investigation of the Justice League reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called into account. Again, he's not providing many receipts here. July 7th, during a 57-minute-long phone call with Walter, I made multiple attempts to have him escalate my claims of misconduct against Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg through the proper channels. Rather than escalate the situation when initially asked, Walter disparaged Joss Whedon and John Berg in an attempt to cover for Jeff Johns. When I alerted Walter that Jeff was in fact a major contributor to the issues experienced, including blatant racism, Walter tried, but to no avail to get me to reveal the names of witnesses. Exactly.
And other
specifics that could be used to forewarn Jeff to the claims being brought against him. No, that's not what it's for, Ray. It's to substantiate your claims. It's to say, did anyone witness this? Did anyone witness this happen to Ray? Can you corroborate this before I go and whack someone who's been with DC for 30 fucking years? It's not to forewarn Jeff Johns. It's to corroborate your story, man. Walter even went so far as to sharply dismiss certain claims of mine as untrue because his work experience and personal relationship with Jeff. Well, yeah. If you work with someone for a long time and they've never indicated any of this behavior, and then one guy comes along and says this happened with no eyewitnesses, no corroborating evidence, why would anybody believe you? Like, your first movie?
Yeah, like Keith, I've known you forever, and if somebody was to come up and say, "Oh, that Keith Larson guy, he's an asshole," like, who?
Right, like what happened?
Yeah, what exactly? Which Keith Larson are you talking about?
And then you'd probably call people we know and say, "Have you heard this? Have you seen?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Walter indicated he was briefed on Joss's problematic behavior well in advance of my speaking out on July 1st. That briefing likely came from Jeff Johns, with whom Walter served as co-president of DC Films. Regardless of how he was made aware, Walter knew there was legitimacy to my claims against Joss Whedon, yet he persisted in trying to minimize and dismiss the situation, claiming that it's a producer's job to protect the director, and while he was looking to move beyond anything to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It wasn't until I argued Walter down that he agreed to escalate my claims as ass, citing it as above his pay grade. Yeah, probably dealing with a brat is above your pay grade. Knowing that he had overstepped and knowing I had no intention of backing down, Walter made matters worse by making a tastefully self-aware joke about not wanting me to put him on Twitter about this. So he goes and puts him on Twitter about this. Anyway, blah, blah. He just goes on and on and on. And it's, I feel bad because I think he's really naive and he thinks he's doing a good thing here, but he's done. His career's over.
Yeah, I wish he would be done.
I wish I knew what his claims were.
And that's the problem. He's provided zero receipts.
Yeah, nobody really knows. I mean, other than the fact Joss Whedon was mean to me, and he wouldn't listen to me when I made suggestions to my character.
And then Jeff Johns told him to
cool
Jeff
it.
Johns said something to the effect of you're putting your career in jeopardy. Kind of give him some helpful advice. Being your first movie, Ray. You know, like Gal Gadot had a problem with with Joss Whedon, but she provided the receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
He wanted Ezra Miller.
She said exactly this. This is how it was solved.
Yeah. that seems like the more direct way to handle a problem like that is to kind of put it out there and, you know.
But this goes back to the summer, and Pete and I have been tracking this whole time. And all he's done is complain on Twitter without providing a single detail or any kind of proof. Nothing.
It's too bad because I have to say, like, I watched Justice League and I didn't think it was the greatest, but I really was intrigued by his character and I liked him.
You're going to see a lot more of him in the Snyder Cut, because the Snyder Cut was all about, and I'm truly, I think this is the problem. Zack Snyder said he developed the whole story arc around Cyborg.
Okay.
For his version, and when they brought in Joss Whedon, they reshot and recut it. They cut all that out, and Cyborg just became one of the gang.
Yep.
And I think
but for me, he stuck out to me though. Like,
I think that's where Ray had the problem, because originally it was 2 movies and it was all about him. And it's his first movie, and then he got cut down to sidekick, and I think that was the problem.
I know that's not thinking ahead though, because like, geez, if I don't know, if you poke the bee's nest, you're not going to get another movie out of it.
You won't win. You're fighting the mob, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You think you take a different track, like promoting the Snyder Cut,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone tell him how awesome I was.
I'm in this. See how much better it was supposed to be. Yeah.
But he started complaining before the Snyder Cut was announced.
Right.
Yes. But it's amazing. I don't think he has an agent, because an agent would probably tell him to shut it down. Just shut it down. You can't win against these people, especially being new. Like, if this was Henry Cavill or Gal Gadot, that's a different story. They're established. He's a rookie. That's like the rookie on the team.
I mean, I don't like that argument as far as if he was treated poorly. I mean, that's one thing. It's another thing to have him having an opinion and not feeling heard.
But does he know what treated poorly means? I don't think he knows what treated poorly means. He's made a couple like independent.
We don't know. I mean, that's the problem, right? I mean,
right now he gets thrown. Now he gets thrown in this like completely dysfunctional production that's all messed up and over budget, and they've replaced directors and they're reshoot. The thing's a mess, and they're trying to still make their release date. And he's probably going up to Joss Whedon going, "Why'd you cut this? And why'd you cut that? And why'd you?" And Joss is probably like, "Dude,
I wish we knew.
Get out of here. I'm on a deadline. Get out of here."
Yeah, it would be nice if we knew, but the problem is the whole problem is that he doesn't provide a lick of proof of it. All he says, all he offers up is that Joss Whedon was mean to me, and I didn't have my way. That's all.
Jeff Johns threatened my career. He says Jeff Johns threatened his career, and I'm guessing that was he ran it upstairs, and Jeff Johns said, "Dude, just go downstairs and do what they ask. Don't make waves. You're brand new."
Well, this kind of reminds me of the reverse of Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters. When he actually got hired to play the role, he said he sat on set, and while all this was going on, he's like, where do I come in? And they kept cutting his part. And he sort of said he complained about it, but then said, wait a second, I got a job. I'm in a movie. And then after the movie was done and edited, he saw how they played his character in later on as the non-believer, and it worked.
Well, it worked because he's the guy we identify with. He's the every person who's coming in new to this weird environment.
Right.
But if he was in it from the beginning, it wouldn't have worked, because he would have just been another one of those guys.
Right.
So it just worked that he was the hired gun.
Right. And he was complaining originally, because I think they originally had him in more of the beginning, right? And
he was going to be one of the he was going to be one of the original. They were all going to be at the beginning of the business.
Yeah.
Right.
But he didn't come at it with an ego. He came at it with his brain, realizing, oh, if I complain, they're going to get rid of me. So let's just kind of go with the flow. And it worked out.
It's unofficial, but it's official. You get blacklisted. It's a whisper network.
Oh yeah,
and that's what Ray's done to himself. There's nobody's going to hire him because they know he's a problem.
I mean, Aaron, how many actors or actresses that have done that to you, where you're like, yeah, I don't want to work with you anymore?
No, I haven't run into that issue.
No,
I haven't run into that issue. I treat people nicely because you have to do that. But with his situation, I haven't really followed up on it. But if you're saying that the original story was surrounding about him, introducing his character and doing all that stuff, I can see how he can be pissed off about that, and everything like that, because that is probably contract, you have that and everything. But it also goes to show also too, all these Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, all these people came back to do the Zack Snyder cut and everything. So there's some understanding there that Josh Whedon didn't do this project any justice, and everything like that.
No,
and people and everything like that. So I think in some ways, Fisher's, complaints are valid just because of how these people are coming back to do this. Because Ben Affleck was done, but then Zack Snyder's, hey, I want to do this thing again. He's like, okay, boom. Everyone's coming back, and everything. Yeah. So my thing is, for me, what he's very emotional right now, what he's doing, because I think he's hurt and everything. Because when people get hurt and they're not being heard, right? They put out stuff and everything like that. So for me, that's what I'm seeing here. A guy who's hurt, by Josh Whedon, and Josh Whedon isn't a good dude. He's not. He's a motherfucker. Let's be real about that. See him, you probably want to punch him in the throat. That's the real and everything. So, and then also too, you have to take a situation into consideration too. Look, the guy is new, but he also has a skin color to him. And he probably took it in that way. I'm sorry. I love all you white guys. I'm half fucking white. But you know what? You motherfuckers can be fucked up sometimes, and everything like that, where you don't realize you're being racist and everything towards a person and everything. And it comes off snobbish. It comes off this. But no, I'm not being like that and everything. And he probably took it that way, and everything. And Josh Whedon isn't a good dude. This is why I can believe him. If he was a good dude like Zack Snyder is and everything like that, who we hear nothing but praise about, Josh Whedon isn't that dude. The more you read up on him and you hear people talking about this too, he is he's a sexist, and he does have racial tendencies to him, and everything. Even all these guys you see. So I even though he's not really putting out a lot of information on there, I can see he's acting like a person who was hurt, who wasn't heard. And he's just putting everything. You keep asking, where's his agent? Where's his agent? His agent probably told him, hey, dude, stop putting this shit out here and everything. But he's hurt. And that's what I see. I see a hurt guy and everything.
We feel exactly the same way you do. We feel bad because he's not looking at the bigger picture. He's being naive and acting emotionally.
Hurting himself.
He's not experienced enough. If he had a little more of a resume, then it's a different story. But he's brand new and
the way he's going about it. It's the way he's going about it.
And airing it out on Twitter is dumb.
I think it's dumb. But when someone feels like they're not heard, they do that stuff, right? And everything. Like you see people lash out and they do stuff. Freaking Trump does that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to compare him to Trump and everything, but when people don't get heard, they end up doing the extreme. And that's what I'm saying is that something did happen and he felt like he wasn't heard, and now he's going to this extreme. That's one-on-one. They do this kind of stuff. I say you're right. He's not seeing the big picture because he's hurt and everything like that. He's not looking at it like, this is going to ruin my career. I want to be vindicated here. You know what I'm saying? And everything. But, that's what's happening. And unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword.
A good agent would keep him off the social media, and he'd win because they would have a plan and they'd execute it properly and they'd handle it professionally.
I don't know. Tom Cruise had the best agent in the world, and he still messed himself up.
Tom Cruise's resume.
Right.
But it destroyed him for a decade, for a good decade, for a year, destroyed him, and everything. And still, people don't go and see his movies like that, and everything. But I'm just saying is that you can have an agent and they still can't censor you, definitely with Twitter and all this social media. And that's some of the worst things now in this day and age is social media. Because when your talent needs to be quiet, they don't. You can't silence them. Back in the day,
And especially he's that generation.
It's just too bad. I think it's just too bad.
But I also think there's an intelligent way to go about stuff where you're coming off, where you don't sound like, I hate to say this word, but you don't sound like you're crying about something, that you're like being a crybaby about something. So you put your professional opinion in, but you also don't go overboard with it. So you have to find that balance. It's kind of like working for a boss that's a terrible boss. You're not going to tell him to go fuck himself, but in a subtle way, you're going to say, yeah, don't talk to me like that. Respect me for my talent. But you know what I mean?
He did that. And that's why he's lashing out. That's the whole thing. He did that. Right. He felt he wasn't heard, and now he's lashing out and everything. That's what you're saying. You're saying that he should do this in an intelligent way and all this stuff. But he did do that.
And they didn't listen to him. But my question is, how do you regroup from that? You know, do you go, you go one way? How do you regroup from that? Do you go one way or do you go the other? That's my question.
No, he's going in the extreme way. He's trying to be vindicated because he wasn't heard. That's what I'm saying. This is why he lashed out. There's no rationale here. Is that, look, this happened to me. You got to hear my side of the story. This is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And everything, like he's just trying to be vindicated. He's hurt and everything. And that's how he's acting and everything. This is one-on-one. A person who's hurt, that's what they do.
The sad part is when you call the president of Warner Brothers DC films duplicitous and whatnot, you lost.
Well, yeah, he lost. Unfortunately, he lost because of that, but also because of the color of his skin. He's definitely fucked. You know?
No, I mean, come on. Hollywood's a system, and it's a mob system. And I learned a lesson like that when I was around his same age. Yeah, I lost a job, and I reacted very similar. There was really, the internet was in its infancy, but I kind of reacted that way, like, it's not fair. Listen to me. It was a losing battle. The deck is stacked, man. The deck is stacked.
Nothing's word of mouth anymore. If you put it online, it's not word of mouth. It's like, I have proof. I have proof.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. If someone says I worked with this actor or actress and I didn't get along with them, someone might blow it off and say, okay, well, maybe it's because you guys didn't get along. You might have been an asshole. But now, if you post your views on Twitter, it's almost as if you're etching it now in social media stone, where it can bite you. And that happened with Gunn, right? Didn't he post something like 4 years before?
Like
and then some asshole went back in time and said, look what he said. And then it's like trying to tarnish his career. But thank God he rebounded from it. But still, I mean, you got to be careful. I mean, you still have to maintain a professionalism. I mean, it's the same thing with politics. If you're going to post your politics online, and you go for a job interview, you got to be careful that the person who's interviewing you or the person who's interviewing for the job is going to be your boss, that they don't see that stuff, because all that has to do is see something, and that's it. You're done.
Yep. I feel bad for
it. It's way too convenient today to use social media to react emotionally, like Aaron said. Like, back 20 years ago, you had the time to calm down because it wasn't so easy to go on social media. You had time to calm down and rationalize, but today it's way too
easy. I could easily just be like, fuck you, and then an hour later be like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have done
that. Somebody screenshot it too late.
Yep, exactly. You can take it down, but it lives forever.
In the digital world.
I just want to kind of speed it up a little bit. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more headlines I want to get through. And
oh, by the way, it's Dolly Parton's birthday today. If anybody.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Also, Betty White.
Yesterday was her birthday, right?
Yesterday was Betty White.
Yes.
99.
99.
I don't even know what day it is. Oh, it's Tuesday.
Oh.
I just clipped this out quickly. I know Stacy loves Bill Burr.
I do love Bill Burr.
Man,
I like his
he
honesty.
pisses me off sometime, but I appreciate that.
Nice.
So I love what he says. He goes, he gets praised for his work on Mandalorian. He goes, dude, you know the deal. You've done acting. They got to write it. If it's not there on the page, then they edit it and they put the music. I just sat there and said what they wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
And he goes, that's what actors do. They sit there and read what someone else wrote and take instructions from directors based off what someone else wrote, which is awesome. He's basically saying, I'm an NPC. I download my instructions.
I thought he he must have, like, we were talking about this, me and my son, and I was like, he must have been a huge fan. It was probably like, I bet you he whatever. And I guess my son read an article where he didn't like Star Wars. And Jon Favreau was like, I'm putting you in, I'm going to get you in here. And he got him in The Mandalorian. And now he gets it, I think.
So I clipped this one out too. The Raylos are really weird. And to me, this is from Itchy Baka. By the way, if you like Star Wars, this is a great blog site. Disney Star Wars is Dumb by Itchy Baka.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it's really good. And I think part of what we're seeing on social media with the Raylos is there's what shall I say, maturity, age, and emotional growth issues. So to summarize this quickly, Daisy Ridley did an interview recently for Tatler magazine where she said there's a few things about Star Wars I don't like talking about because it's not the good side. People turn up at your doorstep, and that's scary. And I've been followed. And that's a bit whoa.
That is scary.
So now, my friend Mike Horton was in Star Trek several times. He was in 2 of the films, and he was a guest on Voyager, and once in a while he showed up as an alien with a bone on his head or whatever. He told me that if he knew what was going to happen by taking a role in Star Trek, he would have never done it because that happened to him. And he was like a role player, like a guest star, and people were showing up at his house for autographs and stuff, banging on his door.
That's great.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
boundaries.
Yeah. So of course, these quotes make it sound as though she's talking about all of the fans in general, and many attempt to erroneously connect this with the older fans, us alt-right fans. We're part of the alt-right because we don't like the Disney Star Wars movies. So, unfortunately for the SJWs, I've done Tatler Magazine and Tulsa World's research for them because Ichibaka's good. So, the people known to harass Daisy turned out to be Raylos that were angry that she wasn't dating Adam Driver.
Oh my God. For fuck's sake.
So strange. Get
So
away.
here they're snapping photos of her kissing this dude, right? And then they go on Tumblr and they write like she kept like making out with this man in every second in front of like everybody. She was like really ungrateful to her fans.
So
Based on what she said about the romance in Star Wars, she disagreed with the idea of Rey ending up with any of the male characters romantically. I can tell you for a fact she will screw up the kiss scene because she will bring this new sex partner on set. Mark my words.
Wow.
So
What a new kind of crazy.
What an asshole.
That's a special kind of crazy right there. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
She's an ungrateful bitch. This dude is her 5th or 6th boyfriend since 2015, and she's stolen from Hannah Britland. These are the kind of people who are attacking Last Jedi haters. The curtain's been peeled back, gang. This is nuts.
Oh my word!
Like they thought she was supposed to date Adam Driver.
I just wonder how these people are living, day by day, I guess.
I say that all the time. I'm like,
how do they go to work? Yeah.
You're like, how are you still alive and functioning in the world? Like, how have you made it this far?
She's an actress.
The world is too
character.
Easy.
She's fictional.
How is anybody doing this sober?
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
hard
we
to
should
have a
start
life
drinking.
right now, I guess. It's hard to have a life.
Drinking. So, another Lucasfilm employee, Daniel Jose wants.
Okay.
Daniel Jose Older wants heroes to use pronouns because that defines you, because that makes your story arc better. I'm just gonna blow through these because we're running long, but yeah, sure.
Wow.
Yeah. The links are in the calendar if you want to go read these.
That's what gives the characters depth.
Because this one is a beefy story.
Which one?
The behind the scenes of Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm.
Oh yeah, that was the long one.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Smoke them if you got them. My God.
Smoke them if you got them. So we know that on October 12th, Disney bought Lucasfilm from George Lucas for $4 billion. And he placed Kathleen in charge. And we've been talking about a civil war at Lucasfilm, but it's really not a civil war. It's more like there's 3 factions that exist right now with different visions of how these stories should be told. So one of the first things Kathleen Kennedy did after taking charge was hire Kiri Hart to run the Lucasfilm Story Group, which would be in charge of Star Wars narrative moving forward. So basically, the story group, they were actually less interested in Star Wars and more interested in quotas for the narrative. This was to such an extent that Kiri Hart's first action as head of the newly formed story group was to make sure only women were allowed to guide Star Wars. That's where you get that famous picture of all those women with the Force is female t-shirts. So one of the implications of this was the Star Wars gurus at Lucasfilm were kept out of major decisions from 2012 to 2015. Dave Filoni was completely kept out of significant guidance. Instead, writers with no Star Wars background, like Carrie Beck and Rain Roberts, were brought in to have campfire discussions with Hart about how to bring in female characters to the new Star Wars. Meanwhile, this was pitched to Disney execs as a way to bring girls into buying Star Wars merchandise. And Disney was all too happy to believe that they could double Star Wars toy sales if only little girls would buy them instead of dollies. The problem was not that Lucasfilm's FemForce wanted to insert sex, gender, and racial quotas into the new Star Wars products, but they also wanted to discriminate against Caucasian males. Despite this being the majority of the consumer demographic, the story group and the new Kathleen Kennedy hires wanted nothing to do with old Star Wars. Their ridiculous and petty hatred of people groups went so far as to have them draw a giant red X on Luke Skywalker, main protagonist and hero of the franchise posters at Lucasfilm. Luke represented the patriarchy and male-dominated narratives. For that reason, Mr. Skywalker would have to go. So now they have a picture here. And here she is. And you can see right here, there's Darth and Luke has a big red X over his face.
Yeah.
Right
Oh
in
my
cubicle.
God, that's terrible. That's not Photoshop, is it?
No. This is common knowledge. I've seen that picture years ago. I saw that picture. They leaked it. J.J. Abrams was brought in to do The Force Awakens with Lawrence Kasdan assisting in the writing. The guidance given to them from Kathleen Kennedy and the story group was simple. Make a new hope for a new generation. Make the protagonist a woman, and make Star Wars look like our world. As Abrams had said, from the beginning of discussions, the notion of a woman at the center of the story was always something that was compelling and exciting to me, and not just at the center. We knew that in addition to Leia, who was a critical piece of this puzzle, we wanted to have other women, not necessarily human, but female characters in the story. And that's fine. Don't make him a Mary Sue. With teaser trailer for Star Wars leaning heavily on nostalgia and legacy characters fans love, The Force Awakens opened to earth-shattering box office results. Despite harming the persona of one of the legacy characters and killing the same characters, fans were excited to find out what happened to the new female lead Rey, minority stormtrooper Finn, who they completely botched, and see how the baddies came to be. To be fair, many fans pointed out, unless this new galaxy is fleshed out, it seemed like the odd work of the prequel and original trilogy had been undone. Which, and clearly they never had the Luke Han Leia scene again. Meanwhile, Kennedy was beginning to have director issues. Behind the scenes, Rogue One was a mess. And it was time to get rid of current leader on that film. But beyond that, there was the problem of Colin Trevorrow. Unbeknownst to Star Wars fans and cinema journalists, the story group had been working with Rian Johnson on the big flip of expectations for the current trilogy. Just like fans had been surprised before that Darth Vader was Luke's father, this time the surprise would be that Luke was a failure and that Rey was a nobody who would rise to take his place as the hero of the galaxy. While Abrams had worked with Kasdan on the Force Awakens script, Johnson was working with Lucasfilm Story Group in a way not even J.J. Abrams was aware. For weeks, Rian Johnson would meet with Kiri Hart's Story Group behind closed doors, planning out a detour of The Last Jedi. Back to the director. The problem was that the director for Episode 9 needed to know what the heck was happening in Episode 8 before he could even get started on formulating ideas. With Abrams and Kasdan blind, and they said that they had a plan. There was no plan. With Abrams and Kasdan blind to what Johnson and the story group was doing, it was Trevorrow who would receive the outline for The Last Jedi. What he saw shocked him, and immediately he started making calls. I can't make Episode 9 without Luke Skywalker, he told them. I have to have Luke Skywalker. The fans are going to go berserk. There's no Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
The answer came back to him from Kiri Hart and Kathleen Kennedy was a resounding no. He would have to use the current Last Jedi concepts to finish the trilogy. Confused, he reached out to Mark Hamill to gain leverage, but Hamill had zero influence with the group, and Hamill himself was disgusted with his role in Episode 8. So Trevorrow began working on a different idea, one to essentially resurrect Luke Skywalker, explain the Force Ghost concept, and have all the old Jedi join together to help Rey defeat the Sith forever. But upon finding out that Colin Trevorrow wouldn't let Luke Skywalker go, Trevorrow was told it was he who had to go. Then came the fall of Lucasfilm. With the release of The Last Jedi, while they attempted to steer the narrative out online and through influenced reviews by Access Media, the fan reaction was quickly realized. The Last Jedi not only divided fans, but it failed financially. Financial expectations dramatically. The new talking point was put out that the Empire had seen a lower box office haul than A New Hope 2. But that ignored the fact that The New Hope was in theaters for months and months longer than Empire.
Apples for apples, jeez.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is apples for Buicks.
Exactly. Right. It didn't stop the negative feedback. Quickly, the tides turned on Star Wars and Lucasfilm. Talks of Rian Johnson trilogy became mostly Rian Johnson talking about a trilogy. The California elites of Lucasfilm began to blame the fans, and this is how this whole fandom menace started.
Yep.
That's why we have all these YouTube channels, and we're
She's
part
a
of
Sith Lord. She's a Sith Lord.
Yes, Kathleen is a Sith Lord. Surely it was bumpkins in Nebraska, Idaho. Surely it was the bumpkins in Nebraska, Idaho, and Texas flyover country that's hating the film. And surely it was because of chauvinists, Trumpsters, and other deplorable white males. This is Rian Johnson's quote. If someone is responding to diversity negatively, fuck them. 95% of my interactions on Twitter are absolutely lovely and constructive and wonderful with Star Wars fans. I think the fandom has to take a stand against getting defined by a very small slice of what it does not represent the lion's share.
Wow.
The damage was done. While Bob Iger had signed off on The Last Jedi, he immediately recoiled. They forgot to write in horror when he saw a reaction to Episode 8. This was different than anything he had seen from Pixar or Marvel. This was mass disgust from consumers.
Yes,
simultaneously, the director of the film was disparaging those consumers, attacking the viewers, etc. While the public presentation of protecting Last Jedi by Disney continued, the writing was on the wall behind executive closed doors. As Solo also lost directors fired by Kennedy, Iger's confidence in Kennedy came to an end. She was scrubbed from his autobiography, and Iger reached out to Jon Favreau to begin writing the ship.
Wow.
Nice.
Jon Favreau was the best bet Disney had out of anybody they had worked with. He was the one who got the entire Marvel universe off the ground. While Kevin Feige receives and deserves much of the credit, it was Favreau who created the Marvel blueprint for the movies. Favreau was the only director to have successfully created a holiday classic in decades, and Favreau was working on new film technology, as we see in Mandalorian, that blew away anything on the market. In Iger's mind, Favreau was and is a modern-day George Lucas. And while people like John Lasseter and even Iger himself were being pulled into the Me Too controversies, Favreau is known in the industry for being ethically outstanding, squeaky clean. Kathleen was screwed.
Nice.
In late 2017, Favreau had begun talks to produce a series for Disney Plus based in Star Wars universe. Iger had arranged for talks and was ready to back Favreau with a theatrical release level budget in an attempt to give their future streaming service something to get it going. Ignore hokey talking points from Disney about Favreau wanting to randomly do online streaming series about Star Wars westerns. That's not how things work at the level of the director for blockbusters. Favreau is likely doing the most respected big budget director in the world. He doesn't ask to lower himself doing online streaming series unless there's a big plan in place.
Right.
Good point.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Netflix, but he hired Dave Filoni, blah, 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 blah. After the public perception of failure of The Last Jedi, after the DVD and Blu-ray sales tanked, after Solo's directors were fired, after Solo became the worst ever Star Wars film and lost money, Kathleen Kennedy's reign was over. Yet she was still the figurehead, and yes, she had a contract extension. However, Bob Iger went to such a degree that he even publicly killed expectations of future Star Wars releases in the near term after the sequel trilogy would conclude. For Disney, that was unheard of, but Kennedy was allowed to stay on bitter and mostly powerless, as removing her was deemed too potentially damaging from negative publicity, and nobody in Hollywood wanted to take her place after the industry fallout that would result. As toy sales crashed, video game revenue cratered, and Rise of Skywalker barely made half the Force Awakens box office revenue, Disney execs began working with Favreau more and more. Kennedy would help develop some minor Star Wars properties going forward. Even her first original animated series, Resistance, was dismally received. Favreau and his Star Wars guru Filoni were given the green light to go big with their series Mandalorian. For Burbank, it was a Hail Mary. If The Mandalorian failed, Star Wars was likely to be unpopular for years. If The Mandalorian failed, Disney Plus was likely to limp out of the gate. A rare move was made to give Favreau complete power over The Mandalorian. Kennedy could only provide him with notes. She could not dictate anything about the series. In one set of notes, she recommended going with Boba Fett as the lead character right out of the gate. Favreau overrode. In the midst of all this, Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland opened in late May 2019, whereas Iger announced to the world that crowds would flock to the expansion without even any advertising, whereas Disney had gone on multi-million-dollar renovations to handle the increased crowd sizes. Galaxy's Edge was an incredible flop, and we know that because she put her sequel trilogy characters in there and ignored the rest of the Star Wars lore.
Yep.
Skip ahead a little bit again. On November 12th, 2019, Mandalorian launched on Disney Plus and seemed to be successful. In fact, Star Wars fans seemed to like it and actually grew in popularity over time. It returned to looking like a Star Wars film from the original trilogy. It was devoid of the flaws of the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars brand. And best of all, it wasn't just popular, it was selling Disney Plus. People loved Baby Yoda. Toy sales began skyrocketing once manufacturing kicked into high gear for Baby Yoda toys. Where Kennedy became embittered over the success of one Star Wars property she had no control over, her story group had essentially been gutted. In 2019, Kiri Hart fled Lucasfilm as a consultant to join Rian Johnson's T Street studio, which has not produced a single success in 2 years. Don't count the trilogy anytime soon either. Kennedy continued to work on more series within Star Wars, but she would have no theatrical releases, and Favreau has complete control over whatever he wanted to do with the brand. His plans involving creating a streaming version of the MCU in which multiple series at cinema quality bring forth an interwoven narrative culminates in central cultural event crescendos. But the ultimate catastrophe came for Kennedy in 2020, just as the global pandemic was ready to strike. Kennedy lost another director, this time her only theatrical release she had left in the quiver, Indiana Jones 5. This one was a stinging rebuke because it meant the man who had originally brought her into the fold had abandoned her.
Oh, that's right.
Her role had been as Spielberg's assistant on the original Indiana Jones. Now, decades later, she had lost his confidence. James Mangold would be brought on as a replacement, but it would be he who would write the script with input from Harrison Ford. The movie might not even come out while Kennedy is still under contract with Lucasfilm.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Talk about.
So there it is. That's
a hearty.
That's pretty much what's going on there. So it explains, and that's why you see, the Mandalorian looks and feels like Star Wars, and then they launch the High Republic, which is Garbaggio.
How many issues did you get through, Keith?
I read the first one. I'm done.
That's it? That one issue, and then you're done?
Yeah. What else? There's nothing left to. It was nothing. It was dull. I mean, the best thing I can say about it is it's dull. And, for a number one, you're trying to sell this new concept, and it's a number one issue. You got to punch people in the face.
Yeah.
All we get is this story about bugs eating this little pixie city, and the woman stops it from happening, and it's like, and then they make her a Jedi because she did that. Yeah.
Now, brother,
don't forget the scowl.
Did you finish Mandalorian, brother?
No.
And Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, we watched every season and everything. It's my wife doesn't like it too much. She's not a big fan of it and everything like that. It's a little too slow for her and everything like that. And I agree. I agree with her that it has a little bit of too much fluff in some of the episodes and everything, where it's not as tightly woven as you see with certain series that are really good, like with setting up and revealing characters. I think they need to work on that. Sometimes characters disappear, and everything, and they don't do a nice lead up with a few episodes for that character to be revealed.
Season 2 was like a season of backdoor pilots for other shows. Every week was just slam a new character that will get their own stuff.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Like with Boba Fett, I wish they showed him trailing, Mando throughout this, saying "Oh, is that him or isn't it him?" And then when he finally arrives on the planet, it helps him out. It's like, yeah, instead of him just showing up with the chick.
They did show him. They did show a guy following him in an episode.
Only in the very first episode, he turns and walks past the camera,
Yeah,
but
that's
then he just shows up.
That's it. So those are my things. And like with the first episode, here he betrayed his group, his bounty hunter, his group, and everything. And I wish every episode it was like new bounty hunters coming after him all the time. Instead of just bringing in new characters to create this drama. You know, you already had something set in stone. He betrayed these people, you know, to bring Baby Yoda on this mission, have these guys coming after him, people who he knew, you know, and you have this nice personal connection with these bad guys driving the plot, you know, in those days. So those is where I think they could have improved to make it not seem so slow. You know, definitely with every first 2 episodes of the season felt a little slow, you know, and then, you know, but I enjoyed it. It was good, you know, and everything. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Those are my little critiques there.
I'm with you. I thought the first 2 or 3 episodes in season 2 were painfully slow.
Yeah.
Then
I think season 1 and 2 almost blended in together. Sometimes when I think about season 1 and I think about season 2, I keep thinking it was one season.
Well, they continued the numbering. It didn't start like it wasn't like episode. It was chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter.
Right.
So,
yeah.
This one, whoever runs the Star Wars Twitter account clearly is part of the story group.
The story group.
Because Rose Tico got a birthday wish on the same day that fucking Darth Vader turned 90, and it sadly it was the Martin Luther King. Just, you know, like, how do you botch that? How do you botch that?
He's one of the faces of that launched the entire brand.
How about the fact that he's just like one of the most classic actors in Hollywood, and he's 90. He deserves, like,
he's an icon.
Even if he wasn't in Star Wars should still say happy birthday, James Earl Jones. Even if he wasn't even in it.
He's the voice of Darth Vader, man. I mean, come on. You can't replace the voice of Darth Vader.
It's okay, because, you know, Rose Tico, it was her birthday. Come on.
Sorry,
man.
Rose.
It's not her fault.
No, I'm not blaming her. I don't blame her for taking the role. I mean, she got beat on for that. It's just whoever's running that Twitter account is clearly
Kind of weird, yeah.
lacking their culture history. So this happened. So Mark Hamill, well, first Peyton Reed. So Peyton Reed directed the last episode where they brought Luke back. So Peyton Reed tweeted to Mark Hamill. He said, "Dear Hamill himself, when I was a kid, this photo hung on my bedroom wall. Star Wars and Luke Skywalker in particular meant a great deal to me. Some things never change. It was an honor and a dream to come work with you on The Mandalorian. Thank you."
I love the love.
May the force be with you. And Mark Hamill responds to him. "Dear Peyton Reed, I'm so grateful to have been given the unexpected opportunity to revisit my character when he was still a symbol of hope and optimism. Your assured direction and kindness was a crucial element in the experience and means more to me than I can say." Now, if that's not throwing shade at Ryan Johnson, I don't know.
Poor Ryan.
That was a dig.
So of course, he gets attacked by the Soys. So you get the Soys to come out and say, "I really wish you'd stop throwing shade at your Last Jedi character, which, in my opinion, was the best version and portrayal of Luke.
Fuck you, RJ.
Stuff like this only empowers the alt-right trolls who hate that movie and gives them more ammo to perpetuate the hate. Sincerely a fan."
Wow.
Thank you for putting it so succinctly. Mr. Hamill is an icon, but he should be aware by now of the reactionary side of the fan base, and this language plays right into it.
What the heck?
Fuck you, Adam.
This guy's great. Best version of portrayal of Luke. You have to be trolling, right? In no universe would anyone consider the movie where they turn Luke Skywalker into a paranoid hermit who had been attempted to murder his nephew the best of anything. And then they use the Mr. Miyagi thing.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, and we could get into John Boyega. That came out today. We'll save it for next week. But
yeah, poor John.
He got so fucked on that. And then Jacob's Quest.
Mark Hamill, though, so much respect for him.
Me too.
He's a truth teller.
So then Jacob's Quest here, he goes one step further. He provides us with a chart, and we should all print this and hang this on our wall. So if we hate all this stuff, you know, about like Ryan Johnson's movies and whatnot, we're somewhere in the hostile misinformation and get help category.
Oh,
really?
Where Ray being a Palpatine was like this is like, you know, you accept it and this is real and
Pete.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so
Right
How
there.
do you really feel, Pete? How do you really feel?
I only have 2 hands. Fuck you.
Talk about, so these people are grounded in reality, and people like us, we're detached from reality.
Some kind of morph reality.
First of all, anybody who would spend this much time making this is detached from reality.
Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble there, Jacob.
But to be fair, he does say these are his personal views that, you know.
Well, his personal views are shared by an entire sect of people who call us all kinds of awful names because we don't like Disney Star Wars, particularly those movies. So, and then I got one last story, and I don't want to get overtly political, but it's about censorship and just the fact Alec Baldwin tweeted this. I had a dream Trump was on trial for sedition, and outside the courthouse, a noose was hung from a makeshift scaffold. The noose was made of recycled COVID masks.
Wow.
He gets to keep his Twitter account.
Wow.
That's okay.
Yeah, Twitter's really good at getting people.
And that's the problem right there.
There was no threat. That's not a threat, or it's not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like hateful. That's the same shit. That's more than they bounce people from Twitter for.
A lot more.
Why isn't he making a joke
more than what they bounce for Twitter?
Is he making a joke about?
Well, it doesn't matter. They purged millions of people off Twitter for making jokes like that.
But he's making a joke
about
about what that group did. But with putting a COVID mask and everything as loose, because they put a noose up there.
There's more. There's actually more. Hang on, let me put this back up.
Maybe it gets weird. They can see plates.
It's they're censoring. They're censoring on one side only, and it's just wrong. This is a democracy, and there are 2 sides to everything, and you can't just bounce. You can't purge a whole sect of people because you don't agree with their politics. A lot of the people that got bounced off Twitter, some of them deserved it, but there's plenty of people on the left who deserve it too. Is my point. They won't bounce anybody from the left, and they say some vile shit. They will tell you to die because you don't like Star Wars.
Yep. Yeah. We've seen actual death threats towards Gina Carano, and they're okay with that.
What's her name? J.K. Rowling.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Threatened her to die. The girl for Shuri from Black Panther. I mean, it's on and on and on. Oh, did we lose it?
Just the hypocrisy of it. Yeah.
Right. The hypocrisy. I mean, they can death threat J.K. Rowling. They can death threat Shuri. What's her name? What's the actress's name? Letitia Wright. Send her death threats. That's okay. They send death threats to the Muslim girl who got captured.
No one should be able to do that. You're right. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. But those accounts are still there. And bury Trump in a Nazi graveyard and put a swastika on his grave. The majority, like this is unhinged. People write,
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm curious to know what 2021 is going to bring with social media and big tech and the First Amendment.
Big tech is dangerous.
I mean,
we've already seen it.
Obviously, anytime you sign up for Twitter, Twitch, any of these social media platforms, there is a fine print that no one knows about. I haven't read any fine print, but I guess it's there, and they have a right to censor you. I mean, I know on Twitch it happens a lot. Like I know, and this is a common thing on Twitch. They call them titty streamers. Okay, these girls play video games. They don't play video games well. Yeah. They're just whatever, and they get tips and they make a lot of money. Some of them will get up and wear thong bikinis or thong something, and then Twitch will pull them, and that's it. And then they're like, "What did I do?" And so there is a fine line between, I guess, what you can get away with these days. But where is the fine print? That's the issue.
Big tech has gotten so dangerous and so powerful that they're shutting down people's if someone puts up an alternate platform, they get them shut down.
Right.
So
that's the thing. They do it on the basis of their own opinions, not on the basis of whether it's right or wrong to be on there. They use their own personal opinion, their own political.
If you're on the
That's
right
not
side of the
the right
conversation,
thing.
you stay. If you're on the wrong side of the conversation, you go.
Yeah. So it's no matter what the fine print. I mean, it's not applied to everybody.
No, they'll hide behind bullshit. They'll hide behind rhetoric. But Robert Meyer Burnett came out this week he really went off on it. And Robert Meyer Burnett, I really respect. He's a scholar. He's brilliant, and he's very left, and he's very concerned. And if Robert Meyer Burnett's concerned, that's enough for me.
Yeah, I watched this video. You sent it, and I watched the whole thing.
He's really articulate, and he's really.
I mean, I guess you do have a right as an American under the First Amendment to say pretty much whatever you want within the boundaries of. I mean, obviously, if you work for a company and you say something, you're going to get fired.
Of course.
But I respect that. If you're worshiping Satan and you're handing out flyers on the street, like, come to my chapel and my Satanist chapel, and we'll worship Satan and blah blah blah, and I hate God. That's fine. You have a right to do that. But it is kind of scary that I don't know if these big tech companies are doing it because there's different interests involved with particular parties,
I think they're interested in money and control.
When you let a blue check mark like Alec Baldwin say that stuff, he has a heavy influence on the way people think. He has just as much influence as Donald Trump. But you take one down and you leave the other one up.
Well,
to me, they're both are in violation.
The reason why they took down Donald Trump is because of the whole attacking the Capitol. That's why he's been saying shit for 4 years on there, and they haven't took him down.
That's what I mean too. Like when it was working for them, and when it was working for them to make money off of him, it was fine.
Well, it got to a point.
I don't want to go down a political rabbit hole.
No, it's not political, Rally. It's not political. This is civil and social. The political is how you run your government and everything. This is social stuff, and no one's getting angry about it. But it's a real thing. The reason why they took it down was because violence ensued and everything like that. He's been saying crap all this time about everything.
I know, yeah.
Supporting this, and they haven't took him down. The only time they took it down is when they finally hit that level, that peak. And they took it down. Now if Alec Baldwin has been on there saying that shit all the time, and then someone goes and hangs someone, I bet you they would take it down. But you have to put that part in perspective, though. Violence was incited by him, and he's been saying this crap for 4 years. So I don't think you can compare the two at all and everything. You can't compare the two and stuff.
Wow.
Just can't. And everything.
There was a lot of violence all summer too that was given a hall pass, So all summer long there was violence on the other side that was given a hall pass.
Yep, violence.
I don't we shouldn't get into the whole what about.
No, I'm not saying it's just
comparing.
To me, it's the whole. Purging Donald Trump is one thing. Purging millions of people who voted for him is another. And you have Congress people now saying that we should punish people who voted the other way. Like it's getting into a danger. You're going down a slippery slope. It's going down a slippery slope. We've all read George Orwell, and when you start to see parallels forming,
I think it has a lot to do with what defines censorship and what defines your right to say whatever you want online.
It's about big tech. I mean, tech and regulating it.
I think the biggest problem, right, Stacey, exactly, is that the horse was let out of the barn because these tech companies and these social media sites propped up with absolutely no kind of oversight, no regulation. There was
we have the FCC. They could either have a division of the FCC, or there needs to be their own commission.
They're immune from the FCC. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
This is the real problem.
And now it's grown out of control, and they don't know how to.
They've had talks. They've had talks in the House and like all these different things. When they were talking to Zuckerberg.
Yeah, we had people from Twitter. We saw that talk.
A lot of the politicians are so clueless when it comes to technology and social media that they're just kind of like, okay, why can't you just do this, or why can't they don't know.
Right. Those that documentary we watched where the guys at the
Yes,
Senate pleading.
so good. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to be done. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah, but this is an old story. Like, I mean, I remember with Twisted Sister and Two Live Crew and Frank Zappa and all these people back in the day, and this was over music and having a right of expression on the First Amendment. And so this isn't like one political side. Well, it isn't and isn't because you're still voicing.
Said you need to go out and murder people, or you need to go like whatever. I don't know. I don't know. That's artistic expression is different too.
Some people took a lot of Twisted Sisters music and interpreted it as go out and kill somebody, or I don't know, do something bad to your parents, right, Keith? I mean, that whole thing with what was the group, the Twisted Sister group?
Twisted Sister?
They had a fan club. It was like
the sick motherfuckers or something like that.
Yeah, the Twisted Sisters, sick motherfuckers, something like that. And the whole Tipper Gore trials. I mean, this is something that's always been kind of.
Well, yeah, we'll go back to censorship,
but that was stuff where a corporation was selling. Like this is a different animal because this is giving a voice to every American, unfiltered.
Right. That's the problem to begin with.
And that's the problem to begin with. They
Not
never
everyone should have a voice.
Put your social media account.
What's that?
Just quit social media. Just quit.
Yeah,
media like
I mean, I don't go on Twitter. When I hear enough of you guys talk about Twitter that I feel like if I go on Twitter, I gotta fucking wear boots because it seems like you're gonna step in shit.
It's a shithole. It's a shithole.
I don't bother.
Oh,
I mean,
just stay away. I don't have a Twitter account.
live a happier life.
And it's
good
easy
once,
to
but
voice,
I haven't touched it in years.
And it's easy to voice yourself behind a keyboard with no. I mean, most of these people that even when on Facebook, when they have something to say, there's no profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some fucking random bullshit, and you could tell that they only create.
Exactly.
Yeah, they only create an account so they could stir up some passive aggressive crap that they have.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so
That's
dumb.
true.
Yeah.
Like Tyson,
All
right?
Well, before we wrap this up, I do have to share something with you. This came from Nerdist, and I forgot. I had it last week, and I forgot. I did play it for Edson the other night.
Oh.
There's a new sitcom being created for Star Wars, and here it is. This is, again, by the Nerdist.
Stop your searching. You're looking in all the wrong places. Miles of strangers. You get lost in unfamiliar faces. Stranded in a world that doesn't know your name. Searching for something that isn't quite the same. We've got it. 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 We've got it.
Poor
Nice.
That was edited very well.
Robert Fett instead of Boba Fett.
I know, Robert.
Robert Fett.
Isn't that great?
That was great.
I like how they found all the little moments where they're all like,
Except for when they had them looking, they're supposed to look at the camera and then smile.
I love the shot where it's Carl Weathers, Gina Carano, and the weird alien. They're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go around the horn. This is a little thing we do, Aaron, where we recommend something to anyone who's watching. They might want to watch, read, or listen to over the course of the week. We'll start with you, Aaron, since you are our new guest here today.
Hulu, watch Loose.
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 You watch Loose?
I have not seen. Let me look that up.
Loose.
We don't have Hulu.
On Hulu?
What's that? Loose.
Huh? Yeah, watch Loose. It is a film about this adopted son, and a teacher doesn't like him. and everything. So it puts pressure on his adoptive parents to believe him or not, and then it gets into a little bit of a little psycho thriller and everything.
So this is
it's a pretty
LUCE.
interesting film and everything.
LUCE, right?
And yeah, and everything. And but there's another film I watched on there, but I can't remember I can't remember it. I got COVID brain. I can't remember shit after having COVID. But yeah,
COVID brain.
I can't remember anything. 2 days that's it. Can't remember anything. But I remember that was a pretty good film. Everything. And Japan Sinks. Yeah, Japan Sinks. Have you watched that? It's on Netflix. It's the animation. It's a series. That's pretty badass. And so that, and since it's Martin Luther King Day, read some. I'm from the island, so you can read some Marcus Garvey if you want, and everything, and you get to read a little bit about my culture, a little bit, and how I grew up. That'll be something to talk about because where I grew up, it's completely different. Black people up here, Caucasians are down here. So it's interesting how minorities up here feel the racism, Caucasians feel the racism from there. So it's a very interesting dynamic. So for me, coming from that world where a majority looks upon a minority and everything, being Caucasian, and then I come here and I see that no matter where you go, all majorities are the same. They have a prejudice against whoever's the minority, no matter your skin color, your sex, and everything like that. It is really a majority thing. They will, no matter where you go, you could be the same skin color or anything, you still have those same tendencies of looking down. So it's very fascinating when I talk to people about, race and culture and
class warfare.
So
class,
religion,
Yeah.
Nice. Jason, we'll go to you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So that's what I say. Look at those two.
I will.
I'd really recommend Vikings. And it's in its last season right now. It's on Amazon Prime. And it really scratches a lot of itches for the genre fan as far as Norse mythology. And also it's sort of like a Game of Thrones, but it kind of trims the fat and makes it really, really about the relationships between the Norse people and the land. And of course, their pillaging of different countries. But it has a historical bent to it, but it also explores narratives that might be might be fictional, but enhance the historical content. So I really recommend it if anybody hasn't dipped into it yet. It's on its final season right now, season 6, but it is very addictive.
Okay.
Yeah,
I keep looking at it. I keep scrolling past it. I'm like, wait, should I stop? Should I stop?
I think you'll really get hooked. I introduced a friend to it last week, and she's already midway through season 2. She's so addicted to it because the characters are very, very relatable and a lot of fun.
Judah Buddha.
I tried to get through all the seasons of Enterprise. I really did, and
You're still on that. You're still struggling.
It's a
taking that long. You should just
it's one of these things I really want to love. Like I mean, I really feel the show. It's not terrible. It's just I don't think it grabs your attention at all. I think most of the time I almost either fall asleep and never finish an episode, because I watch it before I go to bed. And normally with other Next Gen, I've gotten through 3 or 4 episodes before going to bed. Enterprise will put me out to sleep.
But you watch Lower Decks religiously.
I know.
Well, that's a good one.
I just, it's not bad. It's just, I don't want to, it's.
The characters are underwritten.
They're underwritten and they don't have I can't say that they're wooden. I just feel like there's no climax to it. You know what I mean by a climax? Like the show just kind of does its thing and you watch it. And then afterwards you're kind of like, okay, well, it's like, I don't know. It's like eating plain rice or a plain chicken breast. It's just, I feel like you're not really, you're eating it and you're enjoying it, but if it had a little bit more spice to it, it would.
I think the actors didn't have as much chemistry as the other shows had with each other.
It's just, I think the stories are good, but I think you're right. I think what it is the chemistry between the actors. I think Trip is good. I think he's a good character. in T-Pole. I always say T-Pole. They're the strongest characters on the show.
Mhm.
And then the Doctor, I think, is pretty funny. I like him. But I just feel like I said, I've been struggling to get through 4 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gave up the other night because Enter the Dragon was on Netflix, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch Enter the Dragon."
And why are you recommending this? It doesn't sound like you're recommending
No, I'm not recommending it. It's because basically this is what I've been watching for the last 4 or 5 times we streamed, and I've been desperately trying to get through it. So I can't really recommend Enterprise. Like I said, I've again. Well, I mean, do you guys agree? I mean, this is.
I agree with most of your points. Yep.
So I'm moving on. That's where I'm going from this. I'm moving on, and basically, I just picked this up. And
okay.
Oh, so now the real recommendation comes out.
Yes, the real recommendation comes out because I know I've been trying to finish my Enterprise, and it just isn't happening. So I gotten through the first book, or first comic, and I really like it, and I think we should do a review on this when I'm done, but hopefully I'll finish it up by the weekend.
Enjoy it. It's great.
Yeah, it's really good. And the artwork's amazing. So, brother, did you read it?
No.
Okay. It's only $20 hardcover on Amazon. $20.
And Aaron, if you read, Aaron likes DC. That would be right up his alley.
Yeah, 3 Jokers.
Mr. Maximov.
Jude, I think your problem is you should be eating breakfast for dinner.
What's that?
Like Vision and Wanda. Talking about
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult Enterprise. I'm not insulting it. I
just kidding.
I just can't. I don't know why I just can't get through it. I can't.
That's okay. It was hard for me to get through it. So, in addition to reading Ice Cream Man, that I recommend, I got into this series in Hulu, and it's the name of it is a license plate NOS4A2, but it's pronounced Nosferatu. Yep. About halfway through I think there's only 2 seasons because it's based on a book. It's not shouldn't be an ongoing series because it's got a start and then a middle and ending of the story because it's based on a book by Joe Hill, who's Stephen King's son. And I've got to about halfway through the first season. It's really good. It's Zachary Quinto's in there. He plays this guy who goes around trying to kidnapping kids who he thinks is in a kind of like a neglectful situation, and he wants them to bring them to this made up place that he somehow can only go to called Christmas Land, and where every day is Christmas there. So he's trying to take the kids out of that situation and bring, but the fate of the kids isn't really that great. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay then.
Stacy, just Stacy.
Oh, so getting into the new year, I'm doing the whole, Weight Watchers, trying to be active. So I started watching movies on the treadmill. So I was like, every day, I try to watch a movie on the treadmill. So I've been kind of going old school, and I watched The Departed, which was a nice revisit. I feel like everyone should watch it again. It's just it's very politically incorrect. Jack Nicholson is not good. He's bad anyways. But so that and Lost in Translation, I watched it again, which was such an amazing movie.
It is a good movie. I love that.
So just some old school movies that Oh, and then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, Volume 2 again. So that's a nice collection of very different types of
eclectic
movies.
mix. Yeah,
it's always good to revisit these classics.
I have all those. In fact, my Departed is still in shrink wrap. I bought it in November for $5.
You should give it another watch. It's just because you're just watching. I think that was the movie that sealed it for me with Leo. That was dude's legit. He's a legit actor. This is it.
Pedro.
I'm going to do some personal pimping here. I have a couple of years ago. I had a web cartoon. I had a web cartoon that I'm tossing the idea around of actually bringing back, depending on an audience reactions. I just put the link in the private chat.
Nice.
Why didn't you put it in the real
called Bird Brain the comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
It's adventures of a little yellow bird who basically the writer seems to be drunk, and he's been putting down whatever comes to mind, and that's what he and the narrator that's what he and the narrator say. I'm not really sure it is. You can read all 100 and some odd strips at Birdbrain the Comic Strip. It's also available on Comixology and through Amazon. I got a paperback of the first 100 strips. But it's a cute little strip. I made it myself with both my hands, and it's and my brain, my bird brain, and it's something I made, and hopefully people like it.
Nice. I'm going to go back to something we talked about because it was fun and refreshing and different. WandaVision. That's it. It's just that simple.
Nice.
I'm going to go watch Vision eat gum again. That was awesome. I was dying. That was so funny.
Are you guys going to do a post-mortem on it, or are you going to wait? Are you going to do
Edson's working on a review.
Nice.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I'm going to attack Batwoman.
Well, I'm done with Enterprise, so you guys know that. So I guess WandaVision's next up.
So, yeah. Uh-oh. We got a comment. Let's see what happened here. Oh, Pedro.
Yeah, he's put on.
He's double dipping.
Yeah, you are.
There I go pimping again.
Yeah. So.
Very cool.
Well, all right, gang. Thank you to our audience for joining us once again. Thank you for our rewatch audience. We get a lot of numbers in the rewatches. You can find us on the wretched social hive of scum and villainy at GeekTime Net, or at the website geektimenetwork.com, which I have to update probably this weekend. There's some videos missing. I got to punch it up a little bit. And you can email us at geektimenet@gmail.com. Please, we want comments. We want feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate. But most of all, we want you to subscribe. Because if we can make this channel bigger, we can do stuff for you.
And for
more
us.
stuff than the stuff we do. We can do more stuff. Lots of stuff. And anyone who is in this room here, this panel, feel free to put your own content here and grow the channel. Fun stuff. You see something, make a commentary. Do a review. Voice your opinion. And thank you to the Fandom Collective. And PJ from Orville Nation, you rock. I don't know if you're one of the people watching right now, but you are awesome. Thank you for all the encouragement, advice, all the connections. Next week, I would like to... Oh, you know what? Damn it, I forgot. I knew I forgot something. Give me a second here, gang. Let me find this. We have a guest coming next week from the Fandom Collective.
Ooh.
And I'm looking for my tweet because I have my my video rate is shut off with the graphics on it. So here it is. So next week, let me share my screen. Share my screen. It's a jam. Here we go. So next week, we have Edwin Aceveda. He's launching a new crowdfunding campaign for his comic book Ace.
Nice.
Next week, he will be joining us. His channel is Drawing Aces at YouTube. Let me open that in a new link. Hop on over there. Now here's the rub. We start at 7, but Edwin will not be joining us till 9:30.
Oh man.
He's on my schedule then.
Yeah, he has a prior commitment. He works till whatever time, but he said he'll come on. So he's going to be launching his Kickstarter in another week. And he reached out to people in the collective to see who would have him on as a guest. I wrote him back and said, come on. And he's going to. So, yeah, it should be fun. And it will profile a up-and-coming talent. And we'll have some fun. So next week, we got to try to knock out the headlines before 9:30. So we can give him the floor when he comes on. So where'd Jude go? It's time to sign off, and Jude takes a walk.
Bless you. Bless you.
Jude, we wanna say goodnight here, dude.
He's cleaning up parrot shit.
There he is. We're about to wrap.
I had to let Baxter out of the bathroom. I locked him in there, and he was going absolutely nuts on the door. It was like as if he was going to break the door down.
I went to wrap this thing up, and I saw the empty chair. So,
sorry.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. So for Judah Buddha, Jason Buddha, Mr. Wanda Maximov, Peter Bradley, Stacy, just Stacy, I will be your host, Grogu Senior. We will
see you next Tuesday.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey kids, what time is that?